Okay. Hello, anyone who's here now. Welcome to day two of Emporia Invitationals. I'm here with a new co-caster, my friend Ben, by the way,
Hello, everyone.
and we are here. It's going to be a four-person bracket, and we're going to be looking over Ithaca versus Wartburg College. So I haven't given Ben a whole lot of information, but uh, basically, yesterday we had a round robin with the four teams, and we had it was CUAA Cardinals who had done a really good bang up job going 3-0. Every other college going 1-3, trying really hard to stay in and try to get those other seed spots. Yeah, I mean it was really fun games. Not a whole lot else to say. We're just kind of like waiting for the cast to start now. And actually, they just started, so we're gonna get into the draft, right into the draft for the next game. So one moment. Switch over.
Wartburg, we have Draven and Ione.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, so Wartburg had a pretty good work with the Swain yesterday, I'll say. So it's not surprising seeing the band coming out. I also seeing a Draven band. I think it did play Draven actually in a game yesterday. I don't think they won that game, but I can understand if you know that the ADC, likes playing these really aggressive laners, you kind of want to cancel it out.
Yeah, Draven's one of those ones where if you let him get ahead, he can kind of take over the game. So at this level, especially, it's kind of tough to let that through when you know someone's good at it. It can really make it a hard time to come back when he's putting out that much damage.
Yeah, also seeing a Yone and Seraphine ban. Yone being a champion that is still really strong up there. I can imagine if you're against a top laner that can pull it off. Crisis, if I remember correctly, I could be wrong, but if I remember correctly, Crisis was a Jace player yesterday. Who he has a lot of Jace games. He has a lot of like Jace Gnar, if I remember correctly. Oh no, actually no, I think he was the. Is he playing Set? I don't double check, but Crisis is a really strong top laner, so I understand maybe trying to get Yone to kind of close it off for the mid and top. Here we see a Mordekaiser pick into it. So Crisis had a really strong set game. I believe he was set.
I like that matchup. That's fairly dependent on the skill. It's not really one person being ahead of another. And as a part-time top laner myself, seeing the two bruisers fight against each other is always fun. So I think we'll enjoy seeing that matchup up in the top lane.
Yeah, I think we'll see. I think we'll be looking top early a lot in the laning phase since Set and Mordekaiser, like you were saying, it's a matchup where you kind of it's hard to say who really beats out the other one. Like both of them have a pretty good chance of winning, so I think it would make a lot of sense that we saw them kind of contending each other a lot, especially in laning phase and try to get some sort of lead because either of those champions getting a lead can be really strong for each team. Here we're seeing Morgana pick as well. Morgana Varus, actually, I'm imagining that's a Morgana bot lane. That can be a pretty strong lockdown tools for Ithaca. I know, Ithaca. They really like trying to push that early lane advantage. So we'll see if they can make anything work off of that, or see how Woodward responds here.
Yeah, that's interesting. And then with the Mordekaiser Amumu on the other side, maybe we'll see an AD mid laner here. I'm not sure who Wartburg has and what they like to play, but wouldn't be crazy to see like a Yasuo Zed type champion here in the mid lane. Maybe a
Yeah,
Lucian. I don't know.
actually, okay, did Woodward post up their stuff? I think it might be the same as yesterday. So let me double check here.
We got one half here, two fourths of the noob combo supreme kind of. We got Curse of the Sad Bullet time here on for Wartburg. So love to see that. I think we're
you
just
know,
missing Shen and Blitzcrank. I think are the other two pieces of that.
it's been so long since I've seen it. I honestly forgot about the combo. So, and I mean, a move support was did get some did become sort of a flavor of the month. Not that long ago, a couple of weeks ago. I haven't seen it as much lately, but there was a period after Mumu got a couple of compensatory buffs that he became really contended for the support pick. That binding can be really punishing, especially a lot of these teams are around the gold to silver ratio. So players around that elo can get punished really hard by binding.
Yeah, those line skill shots are killer, especially when it lasts over 2 seconds, like the Morgana Q. Follow it up with a little VAR assault, and that whoever they pick there is gonna die probably. So, some interesting bans here. I think Lux. Haven't seen that one in a while. I don't know if that's like a summoner specific kind of ban there. I don't know if the champion itself is worthy of one, but maybe Ithaca's mid laner is pretty good at that. Oh, a Victor pick. Okay, I like to see that. I think Nick, you're a fan of that too, aren't you?
Victor, me and Victor go really far back. It's been a very long time.
Even before he got turned into a daddy in the hit animated series Arcane.
Okay, no, I was confusing for another player. Yeah, so I was confusing Crisis for another player. He does play a lot of Set, and he popped off on Set the last time we saw him yesterday. So I think I'm really interested in seeing if he can be a repeat performer here in this game.
Oh no.
Oh, Master Yi, that's definitely a Yi jungle. As
Wow.
Halachu on the Yi jungle. It's going to be really interesting. I think kind of putting all their or putting a lot of their eggs into this basket here, trying to pick such a what's the word I'm looking for? Snowball.
Yeah, he's snowballing. He requires a lot of that solo farm. And with that Nocturne pick, it looks like we have a Mumu support down in the bot lane here, so that's cool. I, for one, am a huge proponent of the Amumu support, even though it does get me stomped. It seems more often than not. But if you can pull it off, I think it's a very powerful tool. But yeah, like you said, the Master Yi pick, man, that's gonna make these lanes, especially the top and the mid lane, be very, very 1v1 specific. They're not going to get a lot of help from the Yi, and then the Nocturne is going to be able to pick on those two probably. The Victor and the Set, both pretty immobile champions.
Yeah, it's going to be. I think it's going to be a really fun game to watch here. I think we'll be looking a lot at how Wartburg tries to maybe break up this Master Yi. Maybe maybe they commit some resources to potentially get some early invades off, or maybe the Misfortune Amumu. Both top and bot, I think we'll be looking at the sidelines a lot, because you have Set Mordekaiser top, who that's a lane that just wants to fight each other a lot. Then you have Amumu Misfortune and Varus Morgana bot, where Amumu Misfortune, obviously they want to try and get a lot of these early picks and get ahead, but on the other hand, you have Morgana Varus, who can punish any too aggressive a play.
Yeah, basically, I think what we're looking at here is a pick comp with kind of some snowball and Master Yi versus that full team comp. The full team fight comp here for Wartburg, they're looking to 5v5 and really rumble there. I think if we can get the Wartburg players getting a good engage and some ultis off, and then Mordekaiser maybe trapping that Master Yi in the Death Realm for a little bit, they could really clean up some fights. And then if Mord can just wait it out with maybe a Zanya's and some, or if he gets a lead and he can just straight up 1v1 him. I like Wartburg's comp here, actually. I think it's going to be pretty successful if they can execute, of course. That's the thing.
That is the thing. It doesn't matter how good of a composition you have. If you can't play cohesively as a team, then that's going to fall apart for you.
And you can't discount if you're a gold silver player and you're against Master Yi. You can always lose. So there is that to consider as well. The tilt factor, he's one of those champions where the tilt factor is high. If he gets a lead, it's hard to catch up. I would know as a fellow gold player that when I start getting beat by a Master Yi, I just kind of break my keyboard and stop trying.
Well, that is I feel like in these 5v5 settings, that's a much harder role to fill than you would expect. I think Ithaca is. Hopefully, if the game does go late, the Victor will have the tools to keep, or Victor and Set will each have the tools to kind of keep the team in check. But I think definitely once we get out of the early game, out of the laning phase, and start getting into team fights, I think Wartburg's looking really strong here. Okay, well with that, we're gonna take about 3 to 4 minutes. They're gonna get into game. We have to wait, obviously, for the whole for the whole delay to kick in before we can actually start spectating. I'll say to people who are spectating here, anyone from other colleges, thank you for coming. Thank you for supporting this event. I will say I am sponsoring this event personally. I really wanted to see it happen. I really wanted to give all these teams a chance to compete for some sort of reward. So I'll just say, if people are interested, if they like the stream, any sort of subs are appreciated, donations are appreciated, and yeah.
So Nick, for those people that may not know, what are the stakes here? What's the prize for the winning team?
So let me double check what I have posted here. If I remember correctly, it is let me look back here at the announcements. It'll be $100 to first place, $50 to second place, and it's supposed to be third and fourth. We're supposed to get $25, which I'll stick to it since that's what I said. But it is gonna,
Yeah, that's quite a bit of money for a free tournament. They didn't pay to join up here, so it's pretty cool that you guys are able to put up something at least to raise the stakes a little bit and make it more fun.
Yeah, if anyone, and if any colleges, want to donate back to help with the expenditures, I appreciate it. Anyway, we're gonna take a break. We'll talk a bit more about the two teams and formulate on the next game. So we'll be back in a bit.
Oh. That was the violence of action in use there, and you saw it. They did not expect that full-on invade. And I'll say two things. I was surprised we didn't see the Misfortune start with E. I think that would have helped a little bit, although, I mean, it came out 2-0, so that's pretty good. And then the Nocturne flash over the wall there, he almost predicted it. It came out so fast, so that was a very well played there by him. But, yeah, that was certainly an exciting start to the game. Yeah, that's true. It looks like your stream audio still isn't coming through here, Nick. You got a little bit muted there, but yeah, I think the start. It'll be interesting to see with the Nocturne starting with a double longsword if we'll see any invading on his side. Thanks to that, I think it's a fairly even matchup between him and Master Yi early game. I think I'd give the edge to Nocturne a little bit, especially at level 3. But with those two items, I think he really bullies him around if he wants to show up. And there he is. Yeah, he's going straight to Master Yi's red buff. And yeah, so we might see some fun action in the jungle here thanks to that early 2-0 start.
I mean, possibly. We are seeing Halachu just kind of matching it. He does have, or I think he did have vision, just barely catching it in time. So he's just going to go and convert that red. I think we'll probably just see them trading their jungle for the time being. And as I was saying earlier, Price is getting a little bit of a fight there with little Boars 101. What I was saying before while I was muted was just that you don't really need to make it rain while you have a Mumu with Glacial Augment. Once he lands that 1 CC, anyone caught in the immediate area is instantly slowed and also has their damage cut. So Ithaca kind of not really seeing that he has that Glacial Augment kind of funneled really hard into one spot and made it really tough for them.
That's true. I think just maybe a 5-point would have been a lot more effective there than stacking your whole team in one bush against that.
Yeah. To see how Ithaca bounces back, having lost that kind of lead. We do see all of that did kind of get funneled into the Nocturne here, so At the time being, however, it does look like Corn King is going to focus on farming, trying to get, because if he can get 6 before Master Yi, that means he can be impacting lanes a lot harder, a lot faster. Actually, looking top, Halachi's trying to set something up here with Crisis.
Yeah, we got Nocturne pathing topside too, so
Crisis
we could
flash,
get a little
Forge
bit.
flash and return, Halachi Q. It's going to get pulled in. Crisis dropping the W, getting the kill, and surviving the tower. Corn King might be looking to possibly follow up here.
Yeah, he knows there's minimal flashes up here top, but he knows Set's down at least, so let's see how this turns out.
Crisis trying to do a little ring around the rosy with Corn King here. But Mordekaiser is gaining up on him. It's not looking too good for him. Waiting for his cooldowns, but he is going to get feared, and the claw is going to send him back home.
Yeah, that's probably best case scenario for them there is Mordekaiser picking that kill back up because he is now back even on that top lane matchup. So that good use of the teleport, getting back in the lane and picking up that kill was huge. I think Set maybe just gives that to Nocturne, man. He's already got a lead. A little bit more is less impactful than keeping Mordekaiser from getting a kill there.
Yeah, and we can see in the gold as well. Mordekaiser, even though he died, he is matching Set in goal as well. So not at all a bad trade top.
Nope, not at all.
Here, kind of just watching now. The lanes are slowing down a little bit. We might be seeing something kind of brewing bot. Wimbo doesn't have a whole lot of mana, but he's trying to stay in range of XP. Is going to get hit by Make It Rain. However, the spell shield is going to help him just a little bit, but Vida is using a lot. Burning the heal, trying to get Flash and Kutcher, but Varus doesn't have any abilities up with him not be secured. Crisis trading top the W. Nuking Borge already so early.
Yeah, you see that Set really has the advantage in a short skirmish, but as that time goes on, the Mordekaiser damage in his passive really makes that damage ramp up, and if we have a 5, 6 to 10 second fight, I think Mordekaiser starts taking the lead. Also, we did blow a heal down bot lane there.
Yeah, let's just see. Corn King is setting up for trying to get the lane gate going off here, while Crisis is looking a little low up top here. Ooh, this is the hook in on Borge. Will get hooked in return. W comes down the shield. Will it be enough? No, it won't. Borge is trying to survive the Master Yi reprisal gank, but Halachu is too healthy for him. He will go down to the Master Yi.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate for them giving Master Yi that kill. I think maybe he holds on to that ult. He can maybe fight that out, but he ulted the Set obviously for a little more damage. I don't know if it was necessarily necessary for him, but that's a tough one. I think Master Yi picking up a kill there is really bad for Warburton there.
It is going up onto kind of advancing the clock on this Master Yi that you want to kind of shut down as soon as you can. It looks like here, Halachu just heading back to farm a bit.
But then again, that top lane matchup, the gold gap gets widened a little bit with the Mordekaiser solo kill. He also crashed a wave, I think. So it's good for him in that regard. But team-wise, I don't know. It might be a wash. Warburton is up almost 2K gold at this point, so they're looking okay.
Yeah.
More like 1K. Sorry, a little tough math there.
Yeah, that's all right. Math is not your first subject. I understand.
No, it's not. It's not my second or third either.
Well, you're in the Air Force, so you don't need it.
Exactly.
And not a whole lot else going on here. Oh, actually, never mind. There's a bit of trading going on bot, but it doesn't look like anything too troublesome. Rosehawk doing a lot to protect the bot laner. Borge, meanwhile, is getting dove top here by the ulting Yi, but the TP from Orianna will protect him.
Yeah, she should have waited for a bigger commit there, I think. It does protect the Mordekaiser, but at the same time, she blows a big summoner spell there for basically nothing. Maybe wait until they're committed under turret before. It's a little riskier, but the reward's a lot higher, too.
Yeah, I mean, not bad play, all things considered. And early teleport is a lot weaker than it used to be, so I don't think in either way it's that big a deal. You know, you're either doing it to get more farm in your lane, so using it defensively there, I think.
That's fair, and I think she had just completed a, returning to base. So,
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
a little slower than just walking back, but not that bad, all
yeah,
things considered.
yeah, we'll lose out a bit of farm to the Victor mid, but not too bad. And then we're just kind of back to the old junglers just farming their camps out, trying to get as much gold as they can to hopefully impact the lanes afterwards.
Yep,
Meanwhile,
we got a level 6 Nocturne here, so let's see if he looks to do something. I think
yeah,
playing this waiting game is not going to go in their direction come late to mid game. So I'd like to see him try to get more active on the map here. He got those 2 kills early and really hasn't done anything with it.
yeah, we saw a little bit. I mean, most of the action we're seeing is top right now. I mean, Crisis and Mordekaiser both really want to do the same thing. They want to get a lot of trades off and skirmish as much as they can. Although actually, it looks like never mind. Halachu here is trying to do. Halachu actually managed to get Dragon. Sorry about that. The camera wasn't working with me right there. But good rotations on Ithaca's part, securing that Dragon. Missed it on the camcorder though, because of some. Sometimes.
Yeah, I saw Yi took a blast cone over the wall and kind of snuck it on him there. No wards on Dragon for Warburton on red side here, so that comes back to bite him.
Yeah, forcing the bot lane, forcing the cleanse on the Vetus might be opportunity, little window for them now. But Master Yi did take Dragon, so we'll be looking to go back top to get that farm and possibly maybe try to go for this next objective, the Herald that's up now.
Yeah, I'd like to see them force a fight top lane with the Mordekaiser, maybe get his ult out, and then once set is kind of low, have the Nocturne ult in for the finish up. But it looks like they're just happy to farm it out right now, which I don't necessarily agree with.
I know you don't agree with don't agree with not fighting, Ben. That's your bread and butter up there.
I play this game to have fun, okay? Not to sit around and I'm not playing chess or checkers here, man. It's a League of Legends. Trying to have fun, fight somebody.
Like, Crisis is going to get burned by the Mordekaiser passive a lot. Decided to take the hook on Lachu. Is actually right behind. Oh, here comes Horn King with the ultimate. He's going to get shredded by the set passive. The W. Oh, he flashes it. Barely escaping. Halachu's trying to recover anything as 2v2. Forced to use a W. Stormgator is really close behind with the teleport. The ult comes down. Borgage has to use his W shield. Nick Show is close behind to protect him. That was a crazy 2v2 top we saw from the junglers and top laners.
Mort needed to go back in as soon as he saw that Orianna coming up. I don't know if the communication wasn't there or what, but if he just walks back in a little bit and we get an Orianna ult, I think they clean up that Victor too.
All things considered, still a good show from the from both teams there. We saw, Crisis having that set passive was almost a really strong force, but just barely wasn't able to secure anything. And then you had I think what we're seeing here is a lot of it from the top, or from the McNick show, or not the McNick show, sorry, from Corn King. Looking at the item, he already had a finished item going into that fight. So regardless of how good a trading Crisis is doing up top, the Nocturne having that early kill, that early gold lead, really paid off at that crucial moment.
That's true. Did end up giving them the win there in that little skirmish, but yeah, it was a tough fight. I'm glad there was a fight. Like we said, something happened. It was exciting, so I can't really complain. But at the same time, I'm surprised the Nocturne ulted onto the E there. Corn King deciding to go for full health Halachu versus Crisis, who was about a quarter HP. I know it's set, but maybe that turns out a little bit better. I'm not sure.
I mean, ultimately, in the end, it worked out in their favor, so you can't really complain. I guess now we just have to wait and see how Halachu kind of bounces back from losing such an early skirmish. It does look like they're going to be going for the Herald here. Corn King is bot just kind of clearing vision of the Dragon Pit. So Ithaca having a pretty clean Herald here. They losing that fight did cost them a bit, but they're only down 1k gold at the moment. They do have both Dragon and Herald and can use this Herald to leverage even more gold. I guess.
Yeah, I think.
What were your thoughts on where they should possibly place this Herald?
I mean, most of the stuff has been going on in top lane so far. So that's obviously the hot idea here. But I think Yeah, probably top lane. I think they're happy to scale mid and bot as they do win that scaling matchup in both those lanes, and they just need to keep top lane moving. Um, if they
Yeah.
can get that set moving around the map and take the turret as well, that could help him out with his ult and his CC and durability. He really is an asset to those small like 3v3, 2v2 team fights. So
Looks like they're
we'll
going to be
we'll see
trying
what
to
they do.
they're going to be trying to set something up here. Morgana landing the binding and getting the ult off. Flash and Kutcher doesn't really have anything to get out of this situation. Veda's forced to flash away. Will get dropped. Halachu did ult for that, so he's going to help push this. Possibly see him drop the Herald early. We'll see. It would be actually no, plates are down now, so regardless, you know, it's either you get the turret or you don't really get a whole lot off the Herald. It's going to pop it. Ooh, Corn King here trying to get a recovery here. Being in the middle of the team, propping the Stride Breaker and hitting everyone. Limbo is barely gets the kill on him, but Vedas is here to back up. Halachu will get eaten by the quick shot, followed by Rosehawk. Very good follow-up. We're seeing the Nocturne just becoming such a menace with that storm, that storm rate.
Stride Breaker, yeah, I've been waiting for that. That's kind of the ultimate I've been waiting for, man. He's had 2 kills at level 1 and hasn't really done anything with it until now. So really good fight to see there. I think the Orianna ult came out a little bit late, although she did get the ball on him. That Nocturne Orianna combo is going to end up being really decisive here as this game goes on.
Trying to walk back, get under a tower, but Bryce is here to ultimate away, keep him away from that tower. Stormgater is going to get the kill there. Bit unfortunate pathing from Boars. You had the Victor kind of waiting behind the tower, just hoping that he would try to walk back from mid, it looked like.
Yeah, I don't know if he was alt tabbed or what, but he saw that Victor laser come out when he was running through Tribush and just did not react at all. He just kept the auto pathing up towards the turret, and it really came back to bite him.
Yeah, just a bit of unfortunate pathing. Not really, didn't really have the vision and didn't understand the danger he was in, which, you know, just what happens. It looks like Wartburg actually might be looking to set up a dragon. They do start it. Meanwhile, Halachu's getting some farming. Not a whole lot here that Ithaca can do defend it. It is a 4-member team. Their Victor was still rotating back from mid, so that will be a pretty clean Baron, or not Baron, sorry, a really clean dragon from Wartburg.
Good to see him finally go for some objectives on the map here after giving up a dragon and a Rift Herald. I think it'll really help him out. Air Drake, not the best one, but I think it's decent for their team, all things considered.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're seeing from Wartburg kind of what it looks like. Maybe Nocturne does have ultimate options. They're going to be looking for it. Waiting for Flash and Pusher maybe to land it from the move binding. But ultimately, Ithaca will respect it. They will back up a bit. And we're going to see what Corn King does. It looks like he's going to try to maybe get a lane gank off instead. Really wanting to take advantage of this Amumu, who has such powerful CC. That shield going down will signal for him to be able to like step up and...
Yeah, it's flash alt time. Oh, and the binding hits him. That's unfortunate. Yeah, you see the Nocturne really trying to get that ult off on cooldown. And that's what you want to do, man. You got to demoralize those guys while you can. The Nocturne scaled up, and he's very powerful right now, but he will start
ulting onto Victor here. Flash try to get to him, but he's going to be stunned. The storm is just going to tear through him, but Halachu here maybe to get a kill, cleans him up really quick, but Flash and Kutcher has ult, followed up by the Orianna ult from Nick Show will secure Halachu instead. Really good job from Corn King trying to capitalize on all this early power that he has as much as he can. Does die for it, but his team picking up that Victor kill does mean they're going to get the tower for basically free here.
Yeah, not bad. I mean, obviously the initial engage for Nocturne didn't go his way, but it was the map pressure, and then he knew he had the numbers to back it up. So Yi dying for the kill as he does, and I think we'll see plenty of that as the game goes on. But the Amumu ult solo on him was a good plan to get him stuck in one spot. That's what you got to do with the Master Yi. You know, you got to make him stand still and put that damage on him.
Kind of seeing we'll have to see if Halachu can get any sort of like item power spike. He is going for the Bork tank build, which could work out in his favor if he's able to hit that power spike fast enough. But that's the question. Is he going to get that item spike? Is he going to be at the power level he needs to be when his team starts fighting. And it's looking really dicey. You have this Nocturne who's able to, already finishing the Stride Breaker means that anyone that he decides to go on is going to have a hard time getting away here.
You know, I really like to see the Master Yi go Bork straight into Sunfire Cape because you know what? At the end of the day, tanks aren't allowed to have items that are even remotely playable. They have to be abused by assassins and bruisers and then nerfed into the ground. That's how we like to play our League of Legends.
We'll leave it at the soapbox for now, Ben.
Not that I have a personal stake or feelings in any of this.
I have to hold on to that quarantine.
Nothing about Diana with Sunfire Cape. Anyway, moving on.
Oh, a bit of preemptive ult from Quarantine trying to get that, but they do have, Morgana does have Spell Shield. They won't be able to do a whole lot of that. They are going to secure the Herald off of this, getting quite a bit of advantage here. Crisis trying to beat on Borge as much as he can, knowing that his team is going to take a while to respond. Oh, Halachu getting hit by the binding. Just will be too strong. That the Amumu is just proving to be too much of a menace. The CC is very crazy.
Yeah, and we see the power here of the Nocturne zoning ultimate to keep him off of the Rift Herald, I think. Huge brain play, big mega IQ there. I was surprised at the Crisis damage there in the top lane against the Mordekaiser, so really cool to see that. So I don't know where that matchup's going, but it looks like Crisis, despite being down in gold and kills and farm, is putting out a lot of damage and kind of won.
Crisis is trying to do something for his team here. Dropping the W, just trying to prevent the Herald from getting any more. The Herald will die at the tower, but... Oh, ult from Big Wimbo will barely whiff there. Good job from Crisis, trying his hardest to defend that tower, preventing Wartburg from getting any more gold than they've already gotten. You know, his team's already bleeding a lot of resources at the moment, so...
Yeah, good thing that happened there that was kind of hard to see was that Borge put him in the Death Realm before he could get his W off on the whole team, so... He flanked and had a great flank on Ithaca there, but on Warburg, sorry, and was unable to get a lot of damage out because he got put in the Death Realm and then beat down by the Mordekaiser.
Oh no, good attempts to stem the bleeding. We'll have to see how Ithaca can maybe try to get a footing back in this game here. Warburg has such a good lead, and they're pinging for the dragon. Ithaca is, they're pathing in the jungle, but they're going to need to really group up here to try to hopefully secure something.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what happens here. I think Wartburg's team comp is really built around these big 5v5 Dragon Baron kind of fights, so we'll see where this leads to.
Yeah, Lachu doesn't really have a whole lot to get over the wall here. Oh, fortunately they have no vision. It will go uncontested. Ithaca only...
Ithaca just has no way to get over and get into that fight without dying, and they don't want to give up a dragon and, a 5-for-0 or, 5-for-2, something like that. That'd be kind of devastating for them at this point. They're still only down about 1.5k, so they're still very much in the game, but giving up that dragon definitely hurts.
I mean, we'll have to see maybe, because looking at the gold difference too, I mean... So much of Wartburg has some really crazy leads, especially looking at bot lane, having almost a 2k lead. Oh, it looks like they're not trying to push these, but Stormgator being a little bit apprehensive with that laser, but maybe Halachu is here. Oh, the flash, Borg does ult him, taking him to the death realm. Stormgator is trying to live as long as he can, drops the ultimate, goes golden post, just buy him some time, but oh, Wartburg is here to follow up, to help the team. Crisis is going to eat all of it, trying to get on Misfortune, ulting her, but will lose vision as she ends up in the bush. Stormgator trying his best to live against the Corn King, almost winning that 1v1 right there, but the spell shield will prevent any further distractions.
Ooh, that was they had the Mordekaiser there walking into try, and like you said, he got beat by that earlier, the Victor in the try bush, and he learned from his mistake because he kind of Juke stepped into it, and the laser came out, and then he was able to run away and buy some time for his team to show up and help him out.
Yeah, the flash maybe a little bit unnecessary, but ultimately was able to protect him. I think the big part was just Ithaca underestimating how much Mordekaiser is able to stall. Being able to drop that ultimate and forcing Victor to use Zanya's while inside Death Realm. Just meant that his team had more than enough time to try to come and help.
Exactly, yeah, and this is a very tanky Mordekaiser we have with the Thorn Mail and Riftmaker here, so he is not easy to take down even for the likes of Victor, who hasn't quite scaled up to his full potential yet. Looks like we did see them start that Baron and call off of it. I'm surprised that they didn't finish it.
Well, likely, as we saw, Corn King was really low. And Baron it's incremental damage to everyone, made it really hard to commit to it. So yeah, they got a bunch of picks off, but it took so long getting to the Baron. I think it was more or less reset by then.
They're just doing a little risk reward there, and they figure they already have the lead. There's no need to throw it. That's actually pretty smart from a team strategic perspective there.
I mean, you have two members that are deathless. You know, the Oriana being 2-0 and the Misfortune being 5-0. 600 gold on the Misfortune. You know, a play like that, it seems like a pretty surefire. Can seem like a pretty surefire thing when you're so far ahead, but the damage from Baron can make it really difficult. Like all Halachi really needs is their team. Oh, actually, Corn King dropping the ultimate for Varus. Varus forced to flash away. Yeah, as I was saying, you know, all Halachi needs is the members of Warburg just be a little bit too low for him to dive in with the Q and get a couple of auto attacks, and then suddenly he's resetting everywhere.
That's true, and yeah, the Baron damage really negates some of that gold lead that they've built up here, and a Master Yi kill on Misfortune would really, that bounty would put him right back in the game. So that might be what they're looking for here.
Yeah, I think that's what ultimately comes down to for Ithaca. It's possibly trying to catch Wartburg in any sort of misstep, trying to find some look at their patterns of aggression, maybe find some way they can force some resources out of them. Although Halachu's Windor are looking to do a two-man Baron, getting a sneak play here. They actually don't have vision, it looks like, although Corn King is looking. Oh, they're going to back off. They see Corn King coming. They decide.
Yeah, if they're going to do something like that, they really need to try to put some pressure somewhere on the map. They were kind of just soaking waves mid, and it was like, oh, where's the ADC and the jungler? Well, there's only one place they could really be, so they went and checked it, and sure enough, maybe if they had someone bot pushing maybe the set, or if they were actually putting some pressure mid, they could have pulled that off. But I like it. I think it's a good way to get back in the game, and you know, it's a desperation play for sure. But they are down quite a bit, so maybe the situation calls for it.
It's a desperation play, but these are desperate times, so I don't blame Ithaca for trying. That's for sure.
And wow, we got 5 gifted subs here in the chat, Nick. Do you see that one?
Oh yeah. Yeah, thank you, Arashiko. Longtime friend and supporter of my stream.
That is awesome.
It is quite a bit.
We got Jared and Mike are now proud, you know, subs of the channel, so that is very cool to see. Some longtime friends are now, you know, able to get access
for a moment because we're in the middle of a Baron fight here. Ithaca trying to start a risky Baron. Wartburg walking in the middle of them. The set ultimate comes out, and they're still burning away the Baron. McNickshaw is just not fast enough. Dropping the Fortune ult as well, maybe trying to pick up Scragglers, but it won't matter. That was exactly what Ithaca needed to get back in this game. Just Wartburg being caught off guard by that incredibly aggressive Baron play and trying to commit resources when they did not have it.
I think Misfortune and Oriana were checking their Twitch to see if they got gifted some subs there, and they were just not ready for that Baron fight. They did not show up to that. They didn't even get there until the entire team was dead. So yeah, that is huge for Ithaca, and it really swings the gold, and they're going to be right back in it.
Yeah, I mean, now they're only down with about close to 2K now, which does make up for a lot of it. I mean, Master Yi even picked up some of that gold as well. You can see now he's actually matching the Nocturne in gold, and he was down a considerable amount earlier in the game.
Yeah, Yi picked up that very potent assassin Sunfire Aegis. We love to see that. And the rest of the team really starting to scale up to their full potential here. We got the Leandries out for the Morgana, working on that Zanya's. So, yeah, I'm surprised. You know, that 5v5 Baron play is exactly what Warburg wants to see, and they were just not ready for it. If they had their whole team there and they could bring the guns to bear, so to speak, I think that would have been disastrous for Ithaca.
I think what really it came down to was that Wartburg had seen kind of Ithaca be on the back step this whole time. They've seen them play really passively, trying to farm up. They probably got drawn to this sense that they're we haven't really lost any engagements yet. It doesn't really seem like they're, or maybe they weren't expecting Ithaca to commit so much, but Ithaca committed. They committed all 5 members to that Baron, and Wartburg was not prepared for it.
That they were not. I don't think. It's funny because they kind of showed their hand earlier, trying for that 2-man sneak. That they were a little bit desperate and looking for a Baron play to kind of even up the score here, and Wartburg just ignored it. You'd think after that they would be warding and ready to respond to something like that, but they just were not. And I guess we'll get to see now how they bounce back. Now themselves being on the back foot and taking a big loss for the first time this game.
Yeah, I mean, they are still down quite a considerable amount of gold, but that being said, this does give Ithaca a lot of steam to try to maybe, because they're hitting a lot of breakpoints now. Victor is starting to become a bit more menacing. Master Yi, eventually he is going to be a problem for the rest of your team. Oh, it looks like the laser from Victor is going to give away the game plan. That Wartburg didn't really have any vision. They had no idea that there was more than just Crisis there. I think maybe if they waited a little bit, they would have gotten a little bit more off of that.
That Victor and his laser are just... he needs to slow down on that one. Maybe drop the W first and try to get a pick. That's the second time he has given up a position with that early laser. Like you said, Wartburg's still up in gold, but the momentum is a real thing, and it has definitely shifted in Ithaca's favor at this point.
We just see, it looks like this guy's trying to mostly reset, given that they had try with these objectives, although Flasher Pepper is going to interrupt Halachi's back here, although he might get punished for it. He's ulting on there, but the Moonwall comes in. Corn King dropping on top of him. Nick Show here to help. Corn King is slowly behind Stormgator. Stormgator tries to flash away. Looks like dropping that W on the choke point should be enough. So very good play from Flash King Kutcher. Seeing Halachu kind of going back in a place where he didn't realize they had vision of, and then getting punished for that pretty severely.
Yeah, that Nocturne is very mobile on the map, and they were not respecting it at all, having those the 2 people pushing top while the rest of the team went back. So good on Wartburg seeing an advantage there in numbers and taking it, and I think they came away with 1 kill, which the Baron power play is kind of over at this point, so good for them for stalling that out.
He maybe what I'm really wondering here is, we saw that really ingenious Baron fight from Ithaca. I want to see if they can recreate it coming forward in these future fights. Like, the question really is, like, are your carries scaling now? Are they becoming really online, or was it just sort of a flash in the pan? Was it not really something that, was it just like a one-time thing? And here we see them kind of setting up, maybe looking to get some Baron vision, but Wartburg is waiting with a trap at the ready, although they do give up a little bit on it, given that no one really comes to answer the call. So what are you looking here for the teams? What do you think Wartburg has to do to kind of give up this dragon here?
Hold on, give me 1 second. I have some technical difficulties here.
Well, I'll take over for a second. But yeah, now we're just seeing Wartburg setting up for this Baron. They spent a good solid couple of minutes here. Looks like they're going to keep trying to maybe get some sort of pick off here. They do have the vision control, so depending on what it looks like, Ithaca is just trying to get vision of the Baron pit instead, knowing that they can't really walk forward at all into this dragon pit. It's a little bit too dangerous for them. Just trying to get vision on the future objective, which is going to be this Baron. It looks like Wartburg recognizes it. Is trying to get some vision of their own here. Crisis is pushing top all the while.
Yeah, that's pretty smart. I think they know that they have to give up this dragon, and they really sniffed out that pick that Wartburg was setting up in the bush.
Oh, after Getcher getting the flash off, the Schwelcher goes down, but it's not going to be on the Victor. It looks like Halachu's trying in the middle of the fight here. Crisis is in the backline with Halachu, just tearing up tearing them up. McNick is going to be the next target while Rosehawk goes down. Crisis is still alive somehow, living through all of this damage. Vida gets the kill onto Varus. Can Halachu find the last member? He is on the hunt, but will not.
These extended fights really go the way of Ithaca here, especially if that Master Yi doesn't die. Wartburg is really set up for that Wombo combo. They got the happy feet, and if they don't pull it off, then they are in big trouble until that Master Yi starts just resetting on their team. So, yeah, Set and Master Yi are definitely going to be able to pick up this Baron, I believe.
I should be able to with the W healing. Hopefully Halachi can stay alive long enough, but it is a bit of a question here. He doesn't have that much healing. Only has the Bork to sustain him. Although the W is a lot. We're seeing a teleport from Stormgator as well. Actually, we're seeing Vitus trying to come in here, maybe get something, but nope. That'll be Baron for Ithaca. Yeah, we saw in that team fight, we saw, I think, Flash and Kutcher use a bit too many resources trying to get the Victor and the Morgana, who just aren't really your targets in these fights. You once you use those resources, you know, that's a really big signal for the Master Yi and Set to just start running into your team. They really had nothing to prevent Halachu from just starting to tear through their backline.
Exactly, man. I think this Mumu needs to set up some peeling for his strategy for the next couple fights here. The highest threat champion on Ithaca is definitely that Master Yi, especially after picking up all those kills last fight. And he doesn't need to go for a pick here. He needs to protect the Orianna and the Misfortune so they can get their damage off. Especially with that bounty on Misfortune. They're really fortunate that they were not able to pick that one up.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the last kind of vanguard for Wartburg's defenses here is keeping that Misfortune as ahead as possible and not giving up that gold advantage. I think once they give that gold advantage, it's going to be really hard for Wartburg to stop the threat that will inevitably become Master Yi and Victor.
It is, and if you'll notice, the gold has swung in the favor of Ithaca after that last team fight in the Baron. So they're now playing with an advantage. So it's going to be tough for Wartburg to claw their way back into this one now.
Possibly playing a little bit, fights a little bit too slippery. Although they do still have a lot of potential in these team fights. I think what really will come down to, we have Dragon up in 2 minutes, and we'll have to see if Wartburg is able to keep that advantage. They've had a lot of good Dragon control so far this game. We'll have to see if they potentially can maintain that, or if they end up giving it up from losing so much momentum. And another thing too is, I think for Wartburg is going to be utilizing their really big power ultimates later in team fights. Like the Mumu, if he can get it on the Halachi, on the Set as they're getting into the team fight, that is really crazy lockdown that can swing the fight really heavily in their favor. Same with the Orianna ultimate and the Misfortune ultimate.
Yeah, I think ideally at this point, I mean, you got to be looking at those powerful ultis onto Halachu and the Master Yi, whether it be Mordekaiser or a Mumu. One of them is going to have to lock him down.
Oh, it looks like they're going to be kind of going to Crisis here, who's stuck in the middle of them, drops the W, but it will be just not enough of a shield to give him any more time to live there. A good collapse from Wartburg, getting that Set who's just being a little bit too much.
Yeah, I like the presence of mind there to take that pick, and then it looks like they're going to... yeah, the good cleanse there. But they're going to lose this turret, but that's about it. So it helps stall out this Baron for sure, and that's something that they really have to do if they want to win this game.
Yeah, and now we're going to see this Set death kind of probably collapse here. Halachu trying to take the initiative, going on to Corn King. But Corn King does have a lot of HP. It's going to be hard to shred him fully. And Varus will just go down like paper. Rose is not far behind. And the rest of the team just... Oh, Halachu is somehow still alive throughout all this. He's getting on the Flash and Kutcher, but Flash and Kutcher has the binding for him. Halachu getting a little bit too giddy right there.
That is going to secure Wartburg that dragon, but if you saw, Master Yi picked up that 1,000 gold bounty, so we will see where that turns out as we got the teleport coming in.
Crisis is here. He's looking to maybe get the McNick showing, but he will not. He's just forced to drop the W, trying to land it on the Mumu. Mumu comes out, he ults, but Mordekaiser will secure the kill on him.
Yeah,
And
that
this,
set's just trying to do. He's trying to do too much there. The risk reward on that play, 3v1 for a single dragon is just not it. I don't think.
yeah, probably expecting the teleport move speed to be more than it actually was. Because Wartburg does have one single air drake, which isn't a whole lot, but it is still movement speed. And movement speed on Oriana, who already has a movement speed buff, can make it susceptibly hard to get on top of them. And that is going to be Dragon Soul for Wartburg. Getting the Ocean Soul can be pretty bad for a Master Yi who wants to continually shred targets who are just restoring a lot of HP. And we actually see Corn King picked up a Frozen Heart as well. So
Yeah,
that
fun fact: Frozen Heart does not slow down Master Yi's attack speed when he's ulting because he is immune to slows. But yeah, it's a good pickup, I think, all in all, especially considering the set and the Varus on the other team as well.
saw that last team fight. Varus is having a really hard time and to a Misfortune who just is so strong. Oh, Halachi's going to drop the ult on Borg, who's kind of caught out without the rest of his team. Will actually have a pretty good fighting chance against Borg, but Borg will shred him quite a bit. The ult from him, he tries to flash, but he is just so slowed. Morgana tries to land a binding, but it will not be enough. Caught in the middle, dropping the ult, only hitting one member of the team. That will not do. And the rest of Ithaca is not able to respond. Crisis pushing bot while the two carries are left going back.
That's big, and that's what I was saying. The Corn King is just so mobile with that Nocturne ult. He can get into a fight really quickly. Master Yi taking that fight was not necessarily his best move against. You got very tanky Mordekaiser at this point at level 18. It's hard to shred him 1v1, even with a fed Yi.
Yeah, Mordekaiser. I think the big thing about Borg this game is just having is really just surviving. He just wants to be this giant shield because he always is going to have someone backing up. When you have an Oriana, you can speed boost. When you have a Nocturne who can ult in, all you really need to do is just outlast him. Meanwhile, Corn King ult is already back up, using it yet again onto the Victor here, who does get feared, drops the Zanyas, but the rest of the team is close behind. Oh, he drops it, and the auto attack will land. Big Wumbo drops the ultimate, but Flash and Kutcher has a binding. However, the rest of the team does not have anything else to commit. Solid attempt by Corn King, but just a little.
Yeah, that's rough for the Nocturne there, and you see another miss spell shield on the Vicar stun. He just doesn't quite have the timing down on that. I know you can. It's one of those things where you can spell shield that stun, but you got to time it because I think it's 3 ticks until you are officially stunned rather than slowed. So that's hurt him twice now. It was twice where he went on that Victor and wasn't able to pick up the kill.
That was something that is really matchup dependent. It's something that you're not going to get to practice a whole lot, so it's understandable. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do, and when you can't practice it that much, you're not going to have a good chance with it. And now we're actually seeing off of that play, the game's kind of evened out a lot more here. Both teams at roughly 72, 73k gold. And if you look at the gold difference, we see Sets managed to keep a pretty steady lead. Despite being down in CS, actually down in kills, Sets managed to stay up in gold. Same with Halachu, who's had kept a really substantial lead. Meanwhile, mid is mostly.
Yeah, that's wild considering the stat lines here. I think Halachu especially has picked up a lot of bounties, so he has that going for him. But the set having so much gold is very surprising to me.
A lot of it is also just from banging on those towers. He's been the one that get a lot of these towers here. So a lot of that solo tower gold has gone to him. Oh, a possible pick from here forces the cleanse on Vetus. But to see if maybe Ithaca can force any more off of them, but Wartburg does respect it.
That Ocean Soul is really getting him back up though. So that's where you see that coming to be good for them is that regen. But it was a late cleanse, so he took a lot of damage with it as well.
And we're seeing this game has just become such a struggle for for Big Winbo and Rosehawk here. They have a lot of tools to pick Wartburg, but all the Ocean Dragons and the Ocean Souls proving to be very difficult for them to do a whole lot. They're kind of relying on either set split push or possibly the Halachu getting a really good engage and wasting a lot of the resources early.
Yeah, 4v5 is really going to be devastating for Ithaca here unless they play it absolutely perfectly. So I see the benefit of having Crisis top lane here, and it's going to force Wartburg to make a play and do something.
Halachu's maybe looking for the drops the alt. Vitus is caught alone here. Oh, good dodge on the Nocturne ult here. We see the ult from Varsity now, but they're going to get shredded by that Misfortune ultimate. Limbo tries to drop the arrow, but this is not enough. Meanwhile, Rosehawk has to use Zanya's, and they're just going to get so punished for that greedy attempt to secure a kill.
Like I said, yeah, 4v5 is just going to be devastating for them. They cannot win that, especially against this team comp.
I mean, it was 4v4 still, and they still lost it. Oh, Vitus getting punched down by the set. Corn King's taking a lot of damage, drops the Hex Drinker while Crisis is trying to fend off this Mordekaiser. Does use the W shield to get a lot of damage down. Will Stormgater have enough damage? He will not. They're going to walk away. Managed to pick up that Misfortune for her second death ever this game.
Yeah, funny thing for Vitus and that Misfortune is giving up his second 1K bounty of the game. Not a good look for Warburg, but props to them for knowing that once that Misfortune's down, they got to get out of dodge because that damage is really carrying the fights for them. And not having that, they need to not be pressing their advantage. But yeah, they do go for Elder here.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty free Elder too. Ithaca just having the waves pushed in so far. They don't really have a whole lot of waves here. Stormgater might drop an ability here just to maybe see. It's getting really low, but it will not. It will be in vain. Wartburg has Elder. They have a really strong lead now with this buff. Yeah, actually, unfortunately, if we look as well. 1 second.
Yeah, they were able to pick up that inhib bot lane plus the Elder Dragon. They really have an entrance in. The gates are open, so to speak, and the Elder Dragon is a very big advantage. So they need to consolidate all their power and just push onto a lane, pick a lane and push it, and I think they just win the game here.
And we'll see here in a couple of minutes what they decide to do. Baron is up in 1 minute. They could try to consolidate that just to have a for sure guarantee. I will say as well, Misfortune didn't pick up the Elder Dragon. She came up just a second too late. And I think not having it on someone like Misfortune will give Ithaca like a sliver of hope, if you will, because Misfortune is the one supplying so much damage and pumping out so much to the enemy team. Although Nickshire does have an easy time proccing Elder as well. I guess we'll see, but it is not looking good for Ithaca having to lose that Baron, and now not really having a way to contest, or losing Elder and not really having a way to contest this Baron.
Yeah, I feel like they really need to contest the Baron and not just give it up, but I don't even know if they can at this point. It stinks to say fighting under 2 turrets at base is maybe their best chance to get back in this, but I mean, that's really desperation too, so I don't know. It is not looking good for them. I don't think I even need to say that. It's pretty apparent here by the play.
Yeah, I mean, they almost got a gold lead about mid to late game, and almost, they kept it even for quite a long time, but now, unfortunately, losing those 2 giant objectives is going to put them down a lot of gold. And see Misfortune actually being full build as well just makes it such a nightmare. Let's see if Ithaca can stand their ground here. Stormgater using the spell shield. Oh, Binding goes on to Corn King, but he is not the target. He is not the one that they want.
Yeah, we got Vides selling the boots for more damage. A man after my own heart, I see.
Oh, and the turret is going to get 2-shot by Vides. The damage is this late in the game is just so crazy. Oh, Crisis is looking for an engage possibly, but he's eating so much. Oh, the shield just pops! Nick show. Follow-up Victor from the ult from the Victor. Flashing Kutcher is looking for a good ultimate. Will hit 2 targets, but Miss Morgana is also here with her own ultimate. Forge is trying to shred. Halachu is living as long as he can, but Forge is fending off 3 members of Ithaca, and he will ultimately go down.
Wow.
4 members. That that is the fight Ithaca wants. The Crisis getting that surprise set damage. really, really did a lot for them. And Misfortune not having that Elder, I think, made a really big difference. Because Nick Show died at the start of that fight.
That's true. He got popped by the set there. I think the set W. You really gotta dodge out of the center of that thing. The true damage is no joke. And we saw there Flash and Kutcher getting the Amumu ult off after Vides was already dead. So big misplay there by Wartburg, and I was halfway to getting ready for game 2 here. But props to Ithaca for having more faith in themselves than I do. They are not going down without a fight, and we love to see that here.
So there was a sliver of hope, and Ithaca turned that into a shining ray. So good job by them extending this game even longer. We'll see if they can do anything more with it. A big part of it is punishing Wartburg for playing overly aggressive, and they were able to do it earlier in the game. But that doesn't mean that it's a for sure thing that's going to happen again. It really is up to Wartburg to misplay these team fights and give Ithaca these openings that they show that they're willing to take. They're willing to take advantage of.
Yeah, like we said at the beginning of the game during the draft, they have these huge ultimates that can sway and change the entire game. But if they don't use them correctly, it doesn't matter, and that'll be the death of them. And that's what happened there. We had a bad Amumu ult, caught 3 people, I think, but it was after their damage was already down, and I think. We had a bad Mordekaiser ult, and I don't even know if Oriana got to ulti there. I don't think she did.
She went down pretty fast. I think it looks like here we do have Elder Dragon coming up in almost 1 minute, and the inhibitor for Ithaca should be coming up pretty soon. We'll see if they can use this bit of lack of pressure to potentially contest it. It will be Ithaca running into Wartburg, which can be problematic. Trying to all you really have is Crisis being your front line. Halachu can't really frontline on a Master Yi without the Amumu just immediately getting on top of him, or the Mordekaiser just ulting him out of the fight. I think a big part of what happens next is how Crisis kind of enters this next fight.
Yeah, and I'll say, Crisis obviously has that set ulti to get into the fight, but if he tries to use that onto the Mordekaiser, he's just going to get put in the Shadow Realm, and that front line becomes nothing, and then your Master Yi gets shredded by the whole team. So it's a precarious situation for Ithaca, and I think they knew that coming in with the team comps. They knew they had to work around some pretty powerful ultimates, but they definitely have the firepower to win a fight if they play things right, and with some good misplays by Wartburg. I mean, it's there. We've seen it.
And we see they're trying to drag out the Elder here. They do have to do it. There's not much choice in the matter anymore. Oh, actually, we see Set. Borg is trying to keep the Set off of them, but he is taking a lot of damage. And Crisis is just waiting to get the potential off into the whole team there. But Borg does, like you said, use the ultimate. Oh, the ult from Misfortune comes down, hits them a lot, but it's not going to be a whole lot for him. And Wartburg is just going to get shredded by this Master Yi here. I mean, that just all happened so fast. Oh, Nick Show popping the 2 carries, but will die to the rest of the members of Ithaca. I mean, that was just a lot going on right there. It was hard to really commentate because you just see people's health just melt like butter in the microwave.
You put that in for 30 seconds because that's the default button to press, but you only want to leave it in for 10, right? But sometimes you leave it in a little long, and that's what Wartburg did here. They left Ithaca in the microwave for an extra 30 seconds, and that Master Yi, he really became a monster that they can't really deal with at this point, I think. And it's tough to say after believing that Ithaca was toast about 5 minutes ago that Ithaca's got this in the bag if they continue the way it's going.
They do have a pretty solid chance here. The only members up is going to be their bot lane up in 12 seconds, or 10 seconds now. But Halachu is doing a lot to these towers. It might just be game. You have Rosehawk backing him up as well. Inhibitor is getting shredded. Vetus will not be... Oh, he does go for it. Oh my god, but Halachu is able to secure the win for Ithaca. Really crazy play from both teams.
And this doesn't just have ramifications for this game. That big of a swing and a comeback is huge, even for game two. So I'll be interested to see. I know if I was on Wartburg, I would come into the next game completely tilted. So luckily, I am not
Well,
in
luckily
a
you are not. You're not.
competitive tournament 5v5 scenario because my mental is historically pretty
It's
bad. But yeah, they need to really regroup and get a game plan together for game two because they are not feeling good after that one.
yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, really crazy playing from both teams. They're great comeback from Ithaca. They're able to find Wartburg's chink in their armor and expose them completely and punish them pretty massively. So we'll have to we're gonna take a couple minutes to get the next game set up, and we will be right back with game two of Wartburg versus Ithaca.
Yeah, great game. We can't ask for much more than that, man. So yeah, we will see you all at when the draft starts for the next game.
Hello, guys. I am back. My co-host has vanished into the aether. He will be back momentarily. Just a little bit of technical problems. And we're getting into game two of Ithaca versus Wartburg. Let me just swap over here for us. Here starting off, we're seeing some same bands as last time. We're seeing the Draven and Swain being banned out. Same with Yone and Kane. Pretty standard from game one. We saw them. Yes, I melted Ben in the microwave. I left it in too long. I left him in with the spoons. That's what happened. Are you? Oh yes. Let me. Oh yeah. Trying to pop you in here. Hello. Welcome back.
Hey, I left that butter in a little too long, so yeah, I had to go grab it. It was popping all over the microwave.
I gotcha. I have the pro draft link listed here for you. And we're seeing a Sejuani pick from Wartburg this time, a much more defensive pick after that Nocturne.
I'll say I like the Master Yi.
Although sources say that they are not picking Master Yi again, so whether or not that was a justifiable ban, I guess we'll never know. I think I'm picking up the Victor again. Victor did prove to be a pretty good late game assurance by the end there. He didn't really he wasn't really an all-star player, um, but he was able to supply enough breathing room for their bigger teams.
Yeah, I don't know what the team dynamic looks like, but it seems like the mid laner just has to do enough to put out some damage in those team fights. And that's fine, Everybody has their own kind of role in the team, and if that's his, Victor fits that perfectly.
Following up with the Karma support, we'll see what AD they pick with that. Karma support's pretty versatile, and the ADs that she can support and the role she can fill for the team. So we'll have to see exactly how they fill out the rest of the ring roster. Although we're seeing a Rel from Wartburg. Pretty heavy engaged comp we're seeing so far.
That's
with,
spicy.
Both Sejuani and Rel, and a Samir to follow up. Wartburg is not happy about game one, and they're out for blood. It looks like.
Yeah, this is the comp you pull out when you hate the person you're playing against, and that's what they're looking for here. They are not happy, and they want to cause some emotional and physical damage.
See what it does in response here, taking a bit while to pick. Looks like it's going to be Callista. So Callista, Karma, bot lane. Callista can be a pretty aggressive bot laner. Oh, actually, sorry. Correction, that actually is an Aphelios pick. So let's see here. What was the ban here? Okay, so it a little bit of technical troubles. It is an Aphelios pick, and that Aphelios ban is going to just not be. They're just going to skip that ban since they're really out of time for drafting it. But Hecarim ban to follow up. It looks like maybe it's had a little bit of technical trouble. So we'll just ignore those bans for now. But the or the Aphelios with Karma is a lot of late game power, and I feel like Aphelios has maybe a bit of trouble in lane, but once he gets out of that, his team fight potential can be pretty strong. So we'll see what their top in jungle is. That
Yeah,
supports
Samira
him.
Rail can really go against that Aphelios Karma and come out on top. I think they can bully them pretty hard, especially with the Sejuani jungle if she decides to camp bot lane.
Yeah, and the pretty smart from Wartburg here, respecting. They haven't picked their top yet, so respecting Crisis on that set. He's been performing very well. Uh, the game I saw from him yesterday during the round robin, he was just such an all star during that, and he was able to actually find. He was kind of the one who found a lot of the issues in Wartburg's comp last game in game one. Oh, seeing a Graves
Interesting
actually.
choice on the
Yeah.
Graves there. I don't know about that one.
I mean, it is really strong. We saw it, much higher elo. Graves is uh, really powerful as just this kind of jungle skirmisher. He can match up to a lot of other junglers, and he has a lot of tools for fighting this Sejuani. So I don't think it's a bad pick. It really depends on how well Halachi was able to utilize Graves' kit. Seeing the Lilia top in preparation of Ithaca's top pick. Lilia being a pretty normally a pretty safe top pick. They don't have a Ithaca doesn't have a jungler that can with any sort of point and click CC. He does have a slow, which is really powerful into Lilia, but we'll have to see what Ithaca does after holding on to this top pick for so long.
Yeah, we got some interesting comps here. I don't think the Graves is necessarily bad, but I would have liked to see him pick something that could have helped their bot lane against that Samira rail. With the Sejuani, that's a lot of point and click CC. Obviously, the Samira extends that CC a little bit and puts out a ton of damage herself. So um, I would say this game probably revolves around bot lane a little more than last game.
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on if Wartburg can use enough of their resources to get their bot lane ahead. We saw from Corn King he really likes getting these lane ganks off. He did already commit a lot of resources bot lane, so picking a comp that revolves around that is pretty smart from them, and someone who might be more easy to expose, like an Aphelios pick. Aphelios, yeah, he does have a lot of defensive tools, but um, if he gets caught out, it could be really hard to do anything in that situation.
Yeah, Rail kind of feasts on those immobile carries. So we'll see. Obviously, she's not the easiest champion to play. You don't see her a whole lot out in the wild. So, but I do like to play her. I think she's a very fun champion. She's not very well liked amongst the solo queue community as far as playing her, but she's really cool. Has a nice kit and a nice little bit of CC and everything. And I'm excited to see how Butland goes here.
Also, be looking at that top a bit too. I mean, Fiora, Lilia does have a lot of ways to get around opponents. I'm not too familiar with the Lilia into Fiora. I would imagine Fiora has enough movement speed or Fiora has enough movement speed to keep up with Lilia. So it might be interesting watching that and figuring, or just seeing how they kind of interact if they're able to, if either one kind of is able to get anything off that. So with all that in mind, we're gonna let the teams get in the game. It's gonna be about 3 or 4 minutes, and we will be right back with game two of Ithaca versus Wartburg. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Emporia Invitational. It's game two, Ithaca versus Wartburg, and we will switch over to game here in just one moment. All right, Ben. Well, I'll let you start talking. How about what are you expecting from both these comps these games? What are their win cons looking like?
Let's see. So, well, I would say after last game, I think anything could happen. I would have said if the game went that long and we were at that point where we were taking Elder Drakes that it was definitely going to be in Wartburg's favor. But as we saw, Ithaca kind of picked it up and slam dunked it there right at the end. So I don't really know. I think Wartburg again has the 5v5 advantage with the Sejuani pick and the Lux putting out that AOE damage, but Ithaca again has that skirmish potential. So if they can pick the fights they want and get them to go the way that they want, then I mean it's anybody's ball game, I think.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how Crisis plays this Fiora top. I've only seen him play set. I'm pretty sure I've only seen him play set. I saw it for at least 2 games. My memory, it gets a little bit foggy, being an old man, you know, at 27.
As a 29-year-old, I can definitely attest to that. I will say, as we have the Sejuani top, Lilia jungle, which we didn't expect going in. I thought we were both of the impression that it would be Lilia top Sejuani jungle. So that's interesting. I think the Sejuani does fare better against the Fiora. I think Fiora really would have bullied the Lilia top, so that's a good choice for them.
Yeah, I think we'll probably be looking top, maybe seeing if Crisis can possibly play around Sejuani's kit, although as hard as it is, a lot of it will be on just Forge kind of surviving the lane and trying to get out of that laning phase so he can be a CC unit for his team.
Yeah, if he can bait that Fiora into some less than perfect fights and then have the jungler follow up, he will definitely have a good opportunity to get some kills here.
Looking at the bot lane here, I know we're expecting to see a lot of, or at least I'm expecting to see a lot of aggression from Flashing Pitcher. He already did a really good job on the Amumu early game. He had some really great engages. So let's see if he's able to repeat that process again. And it looks like, as we're expecting, top is fighting a lot. Crisis getting a lot of damage down, proccing the Conqueror, and will trade evenly with Forge. Forge's CC providing a lot of damage.
Yeah, I mean, it was easy to see last game when that Amumu when Flash and Kutcher on that Amumu was able to lock down the Master Yi. They were winning fights, and when he didn't, they were losing fights. So once again, he's on one of those high CC, high skill cap champions. So it's a lot of the game and the direction it's going to go is going to be up to him.
Yeah, looking at the junglers now, we see mostly just mostly just farming away, trying to get that gold. Get whatever gold advantage they can. Probably want to look to, might see something on the Scuttle Crab here. Cornking is going to skip his last camp. He's going to be here. Although actually, Watcher is going to be here first. The Scuttle Crab's pathing being in his favor. It looks like Rel is going to be not far behind. Watcher forced to back off from this engagement.
Yeah, I mean, I don't personally know what it's like to have laners that respond to jungle pressure, and I know you don't either. But it looked like it went pretty well there. I mean, they almost had a good fight there for Wartburg, but I think Halachu kind of sniffed it out and was able to see that it was not going to go in his favor. So good on him for picking up that scuttle and walking away.
Trading the Scuttle Crab away. I will say, after having watched seeing Graves end up being picked quite a lot in Worlds this year, what we saw him being really powerful at was pressuring the enemy jungler and trying to force resources out of them. So I think we'll be looking, when it comes to Halachu, we'll probably see less his impact on the lanes necessarily, and more him pulling the lanes to respond to his own pressure and trying to help protect this Lilia, because Corn King can be really strong. If he can get the Leandries, the burn items, the Rylais, but he has to get to that point. He has to get that gold, and I think it's on Halachi's part a lot to prevent that.
Yeah, I'd definitely say that's true. I think the Lilia pick is maybe the weakest pick of this comp, but it could surprise me if Corn King is good at the champion. It's one of those champs where if you're good at it, you can definitely utilize it a lot better with that movement speed and the passive and everything, better than someone with a moderate skill on the champion. So we could be surprised and see a big show out here for Lilia. I would like to see it, but I'm not super convinced just yet.
Here we see Corn King doing the classic bush cheese, although let's see, Rosehawk is stepping up a little too forward, gets knocked up, is going down, has forced to burn Flash away from them, but he will not be able to secure any kill. Really good good engage from Flash and Kutcher, able to catch Rosehawk barely, but only really strip resources from bot lane, not able to force much else, which is kind of what you're looking for in this bot lane.
Yeah, you'll see this come to fruition later if Corn King manages to come back for another one. They need to get that lane in a better position for a gank if that's what they want to do. It was a good engage, but I think having Lilia there didn't really add to the fight at all. I think if he's not there, the same thing happens. So waste of time for him, I think.
Either way, did make it a little bit safer, so that way, if Ithaca's bot lane turned it around, there wasn't much they could do. Not a whole lot else we're seeing going on around the rest of the map. We can kind of look at the gold. We see Halachu is, or not Halachu, sorry. Crisis is bullying this Borj a lot on the Sejuani, able to get a pretty good farm lead up on them. Same with the Victor mid. And actually, surprisingly, the Aphelios is managing to match the farm of Samira. You expect there to be a lot of threat potential with the Rel, but luckily, Rosehawk Karma is doing a lot of work to give him that space to farm.
Yeah, good karma can really help you out, and I'm really surprised at the mid differential here. He's down 20 CS already at just a few minutes into the game, so that does not bode well for Wartburg.
Yeah, Victor having a free lane to farm means that he hits his power spikes all that much faster. Having that empowered abilities, I mean, while Crisis is getting ganked from Corn King here, he's trying to potentially trade, but just too much damage for him to do a whole lot about that situation. However, his team will be getting Dragon in exchange for that. So good job from Wartburg responding to that Dragon by forcing a play elsewhere on the map.
Yeah, that's a good fight there for top. Giving up Dragon for first blood, it's kind of a wash in my opinion. I think it's fine. Getting Lilia kill and getting her moving is good. She should have stayed top and helped push that wave, I think. Fiora didn't really miss any CS with that teleport, so that really does hurt their position a little bit on the gold swing at least.
Yeah, it does mean that Wartburg will not really... Although Wartburg does have a slight gold lead at the moment. I guess we'll have to see. But to see if that has any impact later in the game. Okay, otherwise, no.
All good, man. So, yeah, I mean, it's been kind of quiet bot lane, which is a little surprising. I'd like to see a little more fighting going on there. But that's what they did last game, and I think the Misfortune pick really scaled once they started fighting 3v3 and above. So maybe they're just kind of letting Vides pick up those kills later on. So interested to see how that goes.
Rice is doing some really good footwork, dodging all these Sejuani Ws. I think it's W, right? The line special.
Yeah, her Bolo Strike is the W. That is correct.
Sure. Oh, getting stunned a bit. Getting a bit of poke, but able to respond. Borj cannot really step up into this massive wave that Crisis has accrued.
Yeah, the wave kind of predicated what he could do there. It was a good move there as the Fiora W came out. He went in with the Q, the board charge. So they're both playing pretty well into their champions here. So yeah, it's good to see. Both top laners really seem to know their champions and know their matchups as well. So it's been cool to see that matchup so far.
Speaking of, we're seeing Halachi trying to get a little bit of vision. But I think he might miss Corn King there. Corn King might not have been visible by the ward. He's going to look for a potential gank bot. Now, finally, Ithaca is forced to push into Wartburg's bot lane, but to see if they step up at all. Really depends on how Ithaca wants to, how greedy they feel about getting this farm. It's like not very much. Going back top for even more trading. Somehow these top laners are still trading despite losing so much HP and trading so much.
Well, Fiora is Fiora, so there is that, and then Sejuani is very tanky, especially against AD champions with her passive. So the matchup is very much a skill matchup at this point, I think. And
speaking of,
I'd like to see a little more jungle
trading. Oh, sniped from the Nick show, showing he is the protagonist of this engagement.
Yeah, I like to see the Lux Q or Lux ult come out there. That was nice.
Very good steal from Wartburg. I mean, you had a lot of pressure from Crisis, but at the same time,
I think I saw Halachu smite that down to 6 HP. So misplay there, and then nice by the Lux to pick it up.
Yeah, very very fortunate timing on Wartburg's part. Almost.
I'm sure it was because his teammate didn't burst it when he said burst. It was not the jungler's fault, and it never is.
Very true. You can attest to this. Yeah. Still just more peace and quiet in the bot lane. You would expect a little bit more aggression maybe, but What you're talking about earlier about the misfortune pick kind of scaling the later game. I think the big part about misfortune is that you're still, despite the pick, you're still able to either build a Kraken Slayer, or you have, even if you go Gale Force, a big part of misfortunes, like the reason you pick her, is getting that ultimate damage, getting that scaling, that ability that scales with crit, making it so that way even if you don't do well in lane, you have a chance here. Oh, it looks like, ooh, flash from Flash and Kutcher, followed by flash from Limbo. Kutcher is going to drop the ultimate to catch Rosehawk. They're going to use a lot of resources. Oh, and it's going to be the McNick show! Stealing the spotlight yet again. Wimbo's dropping the ultimate. He's looking for a bit more in this engagement. He has Stormrazor back up, but he's taking so much damage. The cleanse is a little too late, and Victor is going to get caught in the tide of Wartburg.
You know what? I kind of trash talked that Lux pick to myself a little bit, but he has been showing up with that. That Q there actually was able to bind both the Victor and the Ophelia. So very well played there by the Lux, and good showing running down the lane to get into that fight. So once again, we have ourselves with Wartburg with a nice early lead.
And here we see Crisis trying to hammer away at Borg, having that kind of advantage with the Conqueror, and so much. Oh, the ult from Borg comes out, followed by the riposte. He is ignited though. But Borg has nothing else to follow up. Crisis will barely live that encounter.
Woo! Yeah, that's interesting right there. That was a nice little fight there. I think Borg needs to play into the Fiora minigame a little better.
Force the flash. He's taking power shots. Meanwhile, if we look at Dragon, Halachu is doing it. Cornky does have Cornky does not have ult, but did get the burn mark, and it will not go to Lux this day. Finally.
Yeah, I was gonna say smart on Ithaca there, not taking an objective when Lux ult was up, because apparently he is absolutely on fire with those.
Yeah, the binding came out, but luckily they had enough damage to get rid of the dragon really right before that hit. Yeah, I mean,
yes. Something we saw from Ithaca last game was them taking objectives even when they were a little bit behind. So good to see them keeping up with that. I think it helped them weather the storm a little bit when Wartburg had those big leads. So we got 2 dragons down already, and then a team comp that kind of scales pretty hard. So they're not looking too bad despite being down a couple thousand gold.
Down 4 kills and down a couple K, but it doesn't feel that impossible for Ithaca. They do have, the Aphelios pick, the Victor pick. Makes it so that way, as long as they reach a certain point in the game, when these champions hit their power spikes, they're going to be feeling really strong no matter what the state of the game looks like. And also good on, I think Ithaca has a bit of advantage on dragons as well. Already having these 2 and being on the side, the map change, being on red side, might mean they have an easier time collecting the other 2 that they'll need now that they have that advantage. Although it looks like bot lane is showing bot. That is not warded, but Ithaca's bot lane will respect it.
Yep, they kind of were able to see that one despite it not being warded. Good on them on the map knowledge.
Meanwhile, Crisis is just trying to trade with Borg, fighting in the wave. Going to eat a lot of damage. He is so low. He's trying to get the last proc, but will be just a little too short. That AP damage and the Bomby Sender just burning a little too hard. Ooh, Veda's looking for a pick here. Bowling Ball is not going to find his mark barely, but Flashing does have ultimate to follow up. And Rosehawk will be the target. Although, actually, Stormgator and Halachu are around the corner here, maybe hoping to punish this a bit. Forces the flash from Storm King. Ooh, and here comes the slumber. It is sleepy time for him. Securing an escape.
Yeah, it's a good 2-man sleep. I think Corn King got a little complacent there, trying to run up the river and clear some vision. I'm not sure if he didn't expect the mid lane or if the communication just didn't come from the McNick show in mid lane, but definitely shouldn't path that way. That was danger time.
Oh, look, Halachu's still trying to look for a poke. Does half health McNick. Corn King is hoping to try to force him off a bit, getting just a little bit of poke off there. Good attempt by Ithaca, but will ultimately go unrewarded. And I think the big thing was that Halachu came from the blast cone, so Corn had no way of seeing the graves coming out to that fight right there. So probably thought he was safer than he really was with Halachu having that sort of surprise attack.
Yeah, definitely. And good on Ithaca for knowing that that was a path that the mid lane Lux was definitely going to take back the lane there.
Well, it looks like just more of the same top lane, just more trading. Crisis trying to get what poke he can while Borge tries to fend it off with using what's left of his wave.
Yeah, I'm really liking this Sejuani pick into the Fiora, man. Able to, like you said, just you don't even have to land any of your abilities. You just stand there, and the Bomby Cinder does all the work for you. You auto attack the Fiora down, and as long as you're able to kind of juggle her passive and not let her heal off that, or get her ultimate proc all the way so she gets that heal, you kind of have the advantage in a fight.
Yeah, and the real thing about this Borge is just trying to survive lane phase as much as possible, which Borge is doing. Halachu drops the smoke onto NECC, just trying to get some pressure so he can secure the wave for his mid.
See, and this is why I said I don't necessarily like the Graves pick. You cannot really win ganks by yourself. A 1v1, you're really susceptible to just getting ran away from.
Price is looking to commit to this fight by dashing in further. He's trying to trade as much as he can. Forces the ultimate and dodges. Is going to miss the bola. Crisis will walk away, however. Very low HP now.
Yeah, that Bomby Cinder plus the Mythic item passive there, just doing a ton of damage, man. Plus, Grasp of the Undying is really, it seems like it's out damaging Fiora's entire kit right now.
Halachu almost getting caught out by Cornky here. He's going to get slept, but uses the ultimate over the wall. Flashin is right behind. Veda's following up to get the kill. Stormgator is trying what he can, but he gets pulled in. Redhawk is around. Big Wumbo drops the ult, but it will not do enough.
Yeah, that is
Flash for Flashton trying to secure Wimbo there. And this is going to be a pretty free dragon for Wartburg.
Yeah, that is not good, man. That is exactly what Ithaca didn't want, was that Samira picking up 2 kills, because the rest of the team is fairly strong, but that Samira is the one that is going to actually punish them and put out that damage in the mid game. That kind of closes the door on them. So not looking good. And then you have your top turret at like 200 HP. This game's looking really good for Wartburg.
Yeah, I mean, they don't really have a whole lot of outs. You have the mid who gave up a lot to the Lux early. And Crisis is just... Oh, actually, Crisis is going to get the ult proc. Just 2 is all it takes to tear down the Borge. Having that Stride Breaker suddenly is doing a lot. Having that Power Spike is doing a lot. Surprisingly enough.
Yeah, it's an interesting pick that comes out for the Fiora. I think Divine Sunder is really, or Gore Drinker are the 2 usual picks for that, but it looks like Stridebreaker kind of doing a lot of work for him. The slow on the Sejuani kept him from running away. I think he could have done a better job. I think that's 3 ults in a row missed by the Sedge, so Borge needs to lock it in here a little bit. He's kind of getting sloppy with that lead.
Yeah, and here we see Crisis is trying to fend off a gank from Corn King, but is going to teleport from Borge. They're just chasing him down. Is forced to flash away. They don't really have a whole lot of other resources to clear his tower, although Borge is going to get the push. Got really free. Actually missed a bit of trading from mid as well. McNick almost dying. Ooh, Crisis. He wants the healing. He wants the wave. He wants to defend the tower. But Corn King is back. Able to dodge it barely, but the wallop will send Crisis back to base.
Yeah, good little bit of turret juggling there by the Sejuani, just knowing that he can take a couple shots without any problem. And just standing there and letting Lilia do her thing. Good work there by them. I think Crisis really got kind of greedy with his low health and low turret health as well.
Yeah, almost turned it around. Barely, just not having the damage to kill. Thanks to Borge taking the tower like he did. It looks like they might be trying to force this mid tower down as well. They have the gold advantage. We're going to see a TP from Stormbrazer forcing them off. They're going to respect it. Ooh, Shirelius comes out. They're going to be looking for a little bit more. Oh, Corn King's around the corner. He drops the ultimate onto Aphelios and Karma. Rosehawk's going to soak a bit more damage, but they're not going to find any other engagement. Ithaca's able
Yeah,
to walk away from this.
picked up the flash from the Karma and the cleanse from the Aphelios there. Not a bad trade for one Lilia ulti, and they might be able to turn this into a mid turret.
Really good defenses from Ithaca, like as much as they've tried. It is going to be hard to defend this mid turret for much longer with all these members of Wartburg just sticking around.
Yeah, so we've learned you can't really count Ithaca out when they are behind. So interesting to see. They don't seem to get tilted. They don't seem to kind of throw games once they're behind. So yeah, I mean, it seems to me like this game is certainly headed towards a Wartburg victory. But at this point, after last game, I don't know, man. I think Ithaca's still in it.
I think what we'll really be looking for is how Crisis is able to help his team later with the Strikebreaker field. I think the Strikebreaker, it makes a lot of sense. Like, yeah, Divine Sunder will win you that 1v1, but this isn't a 1v1 game, you know. It's a 5v5 college team. Having that Strikebreaker means you can catch up to the Lilia, you can slow down the Samira, you can try to stall out team fights a bit more later when you're in dueling with the rest of your team. So I think ultimately it makes a lot of sense, and it has worked for him. Obviously, he's already picked up 1 kill against Borsch so far.
In the vein of itemization, I see the Umbral Glaive first item for the Graves. I know that's something that you kind of pioneered here, Nick, if you want to talk about that at all.
I mean, I don't know if I was necessarily the pioneer, but I did enjoy it back when Graves was, or back before the durability patch. Lethality Graves was very popular. He had a lot of one-shot potential, and he still does nowadays, but you typically don't see that until he gets about 4 or 5 items in. The Umbral Glaive does provide a lot of utility. It's been nerfed quite a bit since over the past year, but obviously having a tool that lets you just instantly shred wards and gives you free vision proc every now and then can be really helpful, especially if your team maybe needs help with the vision. Maybe they're not that great at realizing where wards are. And here actually it looks like they might be using that to try and sneak a Baron. They have 4 members of the team up. They're doing quite a bit of damage to it. Wartburg is a little bit late to the party. You know, now they're coming to, but it is half health. I see maybe looks like Ithaca is going to commit to it. We're going to see ultimates from Rel and Samir. They're running in. Samir is getting to the bit fight, but does get stunned by the gravity field, but will still pick up the enemy team. Only Aphelios is left, but he can do nothing but be frozen. And now it looks like Wartburg is going to turn it around and pick up the Baron for themselves.
That is really cool, though, because we are seeing history rhyming, not necessarily repeating itself here. This is the same point in the game where last game, Ithaca was able to kind of sneak that Baron and then pick up a 4-man, a 4 for nothing, and a Baron, and then kind of swing the game in their favor, and it kind of kept them in it long enough to get to that victory condition that they had. And here, Wartburg learned from their mistakes. They had the Lux bot lane, but he had the teleport. And the rest of them responded to that Baron really quickly. So it's cool to see them learning from their mistakes there, because it was the same situation as before, but this time they really came out on top.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about the Baron sneak is that you can do it once and that's it before the other team wises up.
Fool me once, shame on you, and fool me can't get fooled again. In the immortal words of former President George W. Bush.
Very true. We love our presidents here.
And Wartburg did not get fooled again.
They did not. Yeah, so, I mean, good attempt. They came really close to securing it. I don't really know what else they could, if they could really do with that situation. You're down a clear almost 10k at this point, and they had such good vision control. I think maybe if they had committed to the Baron sooner, it would have been a little bit lower. They would have had a better shot at securing it, but either way, you know, it's one of those plays where very desperate, but it is what they needed and what's almost worked out for them.
Yeah, they went for the same playbook they used last time. I think if they sit in that pixel brush a little bit longer, or even up in the red jungle there, and get the pick, a pick or two is really what the play was there, because Wartburg, they got to the turret, they realized no one was defending, and then the alarm bell started ringing, right? And they were like, oh, Baron, run to Baron right now. And if Ithaca was in a position there to get a pick, I think they would have gotten it for free.
Fortunately, they just don't have. I do agree with you. I think ultimately it's just about trying to force Wartburg to panic and try to capitalize on that more than necessarily getting the Baron themselves. But at the same time, they're a little bit limited on resources. Like, yeah, you have probably the strongest in this situation being the Graves blind. Like, the blind is just so disorienting that once it comes out, most people are essentially stunned. But besides that, like, yeah, you have a tether, but that takes a couple of seconds, and you have the gravity well, that takes a couple of seconds. You know, Christ is actually trying to 1v1 Borge in the Baron minions. He is just getting shredded by them. Oh, and the ultimate comes down. He is going to burn in that field.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but that's your typical Fiora player rage 1v1 right there. And it does not work out.
Fortunately not. The Baron minions are just a little bit too beefed up on creatine for you to go against the Sejuani like that. Oh, Born King landing the bowling ball, looking to get the ultimate off. Crutcher is here to follow up along with the Sejuani. Ithaca is trying their best to pin them off, but they're just so tanky. Oh, and Wimbo with the death by a million cuts. Is it going to be enough? No, he's going to eat the bola to the face.
The Ophelia is just tickling the Sejuani down. I think they are really underestimating the Sejuani because with the jungle economy, he would be weak enough to die maybe to the Fiora and definitely to the Aphelios there. But with his top lane money, I mean, he's got 175 CS and 4 kills. The guy has multiple items at this point. He's at a much higher point than he would be if he was jungling on average. And they are not accounting for that at all.
I mean, you see that in the gold difference as well. Like, yeah, you have one finished item, but Sejuani with multiple and a Thornmail on the way, and just looking at it, it's reflected in the gold difference as well. Sejuani having well over 10k. Almost all members of, or 3 members of Wartburg having over 10k at this point is just becoming really backbreaking. Yeah, sure, Ithaca has these late game scalers, like you have Aphelios and you have Victor, but they're not hitting their power spikes. They're not. They're taking a really long time to come online. Maybe if Aphelios had finished that last Whisper into an LDR, he would have fared a lot better. But he just doesn't have the gold at the point in the game that he needs to be at. It's proving to be really hard for Ithaca to get a footing because they just don't have the stats they need to perform in the fights like they should be.
Yeah, another big problem here is that the Victor is just not threatening them at all. They have 3 auto-attacking champions in the Fiora, Graves, and the Aphelios, and Wartburg is able to just stack armor. They build those Thorn Mails, they have Azanias down, and they do not feel threatened by the Victor right now, which is a big problem for Ithaca right now.
Yeah, Victor not really... Well, just kind of harking back on the point where they're just really behind in gold, and it's proving to be really, really problematic. I don't know, actually, let me see. I can probably have a way to check here for the Victor. I guess I don't, actually. Unfortunately, attempted engagement, but not. Fortunately, you can't really check on the Victor advancements, I think. At least it's not showing up for me.
Mm-hmm.
But he does still have...
Yeah, if you click on the champ directly, maybe, but yeah, I'm not really sure. Yeah, he's got the blue one. I don't know which one that is, Nick. You're the Victor player. What do you got?
Unfortunately, I don't track it.
He's still stacking. You can see the 93 stacks there, so it's still going up.
He is still stacking.
Oh, it's in Japanese. Yeah, that's why. Okay, yep, okay. I thought you... Why can't you read it, Nick? Just read the Japanese.
Listen, okay? We're a little bit... We're still studying, okay?
I think it says, Baka desu Oni-chan.
Please don't even try. Yeah, and here we see, actually, I missed it at this point in the game, but Wartburg has picked up their 3rd air Drake. Ithaca getting those early dragons does mean that whatever the Dragon Soul was, means that whatever the Dragon Soul was going to be, that is easy for Wartburg to stack, which they have now done. 3 air Drakes, making that Lilia even faster.
Oh no.
Yeah, we're seeing...
You have no idea how fast Lilia can run at this point.
That deer can beat a Tesla, that's for sure.
And it is a problem, and it's not something that you feel necessarily directly when you're fighting that champion, but then you realize you're like, I can't hit this thing. Against skill shots like Victor, you got the Graves Q. It's hard to hit that Lilia once she gets full stacks and starts running around at 600 movement speed, and it's really frustrating.
With their jungler being such short range as well, it just proves how just goes to show how strong Air Drake can be on the right champions. I think it was kind of just on some luck on Wartburg's part that the one game it's Air Drake, it's when they have a champion who just excels with it so well. Looks like they're going to be trying to shred the inhibitor here. Wartburg committing the resources to the bot inhibitor. Ithaca is just trying to stay close to tower. They know that they can't really take a team fight. That's in their advantage. They do have Baron. It is proving it's sink or swim for Ithaca now. Are they able to contend and stop this push? Dropping the Shirelias. Able to barely holding on, but that tower is getting hit by the cannon minion. They'll have to step forward to try to clear it, eating some Lux damage. Ooh, the bowling ball barely misses from them. Meanwhile, the power goes down. Oh, Aphelios gets caught. Lux picking up 2 kills. Wartburg is really close. The dive from Samira and Rel, and they just can't do anything about it. Ithaca is fish food, and Wartburg is taking game 2.
Wow. And I think we see Wartburg again learning from the last game where they didn't get that decisive victory when they had the advantage, and this time they forced the issue, and it came out with them able to clinch the victory this time. So good for them on that one. This game was very one-sided, and I was very surprised to see that. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, we just kind of saw Ithaca didn't really have that good of a game plan. I think what we saw was Wartburg's picks kind of um, countering Ithaca a lot. That Sejuani top kind of preventing Crisis from getting any sort of lead that he would need, and the Samira Rel being pretty punishing later in the game. I think what we end up seeing is just that Ithaca just wasn't able to kind of realize any of their win cons. They couldn't stall out the game long enough. You have a Victor and an Aphelios, but then you give up all this gold early game. It proved a little bit too disastrous.
Yeah, there were a lot of things that happened that game. Wartburg really, they stepped on the gas at the beginning and they did not let up. It seemed like Ithaca just did not have a chance to gather themselves like they got last game and form this kind of defense where they could make a counterattack. I'm excited to see what we see game 3. I think we'll see the Lux ban again, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think really a lot of it revolves on how Ithaca kind of reacts to losing to such a such a strong team fight comp like that. And if they stick to this sort of late game plan, I know that they've tried it a couple of times, picking these really late game scalers and praying that the game goes long enough. But maybe praying for that just isn't enough in these 5v5 settings. You need a really concise game plan. Just picking late game scalers and hoping that they can carry you later isn't really going to fit the bill here. So with that, we're going to take a few minutes while they get ready for game 3, and we'll be right back with the draft for game 3 of Wartburg versus Ithaca. Okay, welcome back everyone. This is game 3 of Ithaca versus Wartburg. A pretty exciting 2 games so far.
Yes, sir. Game 3. This is it.
Yeah, so
for
far,
all the marbles.
Yep, moving on to the final of the Emporia Invitational. So
yeah, who will the winner of this be facing in the finals?
We actually don't know, because actually the other stream is also going to 3 games.
Is that what Emporia Esports is streaming? Oh, that's the other game, isn't it? It's KAB versus CUAA right now, right?
Yeah. You can see Kansas State face off against the Cardinals on the Emporia Esports team or stream. Sorry.
Very cool.
We're gonna move right over to the draft for game 3. Seeing a lot of the same bands. People still respecting the picks, deciding despite what's happened these past 2 games. A lot of these picks just aren't stuff they can mess with. They are going to ban out the Samira, kind of afraid of the really aggressive bot lane from Wartburg after what happened last game. And opening up with a Seraphine pick. Seraphine, really strong contender. She can go into a lot of different roles. I wouldn't imagine it's going to be a support, given Ithaca's playstyle, but I mean, it could be.
Yeah, and that's a pick that was banned out the last two games, so it's interesting to see it. I don't know if the Samir necessarily warranted a ban. It was certainly strong, but I don't think it drove the victory for Wartburg last game.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, I can understand why you just ban out like something like that. You know, if you're against some sort of combination of champions that makes that aggressive, like it's sort of the clincher for that aggressive comp. It would make sense to try to maybe ban out their options on what they can pick with it. So Samira pick being more against that comp and draw. Although Warp kind of deciding that they don't really care. They're just going to try to repeat their process with the Sejuani and Maokai.
The Maokai pick coming out, that is very interesting. I wonder where that will be. I know it's something that can go support top. With some people even say it can go mid, although I'm not quite a truther on that
I'm
yet.
not
But
sure on
it's an
that.
interesting pick for sure.
Looking at we have seen Flash and Kutcher play these like really aggressive engaged supports both with the Rel and the Amumu, so I would not be surprised to see it go bot at all. And here we see Ithaca picking up the set again after not getting or not leaving it to be banned out. Crisis was performing very well on set so far in this invitational, so I'm not all surprised they're kind of changing up and putting more priority on that, getting that in the first round of picks.
Yeah, that's big for Ithaca. I think getting that set. He's very comfortable on that champion, obviously. So interested to see how he does and what kind of matchup he has as well.
Along with the Diana pick is another really aggressive kind of farm heavy champion. I think we could see it mid. I can't imagine it'd be a mid pick. I imagine it'll go to Halachu for the jungle pick, just because it seems to kind of map onto what he's done these past couple of games. He's picking these champions that, given the chance to farm, they can scale really hard and be a really heavy hitter. And having that set to couple with the Diana could prove really valuable.
Yeah, I'm excited to see a possibility for another Sunfire Aegis plus Assassin build. So
We'll see.
that'll be fun.
We'll see. Diana has a couple of options besides Sunfire. We'll say, you know, if you want to have that damage follow up, you're not really going to find that with the Sunfire build. Actually, seeing Warper kind of reading that's Diana jungle by banning out the Victor and Yasuo anyway. You know, Diana being a champion you can flex, but then Warper just deciding no, we're not going to care. We're just going to focus your mid anyway.
Yeah, I don't know about the Victor ban though. I don't know how they're scared of that after the last two games. Maybe he's comfortable on it, and it's something where he'll be even less comfortable on something else, and maybe they can exploit that. But I would not be afraid of the Victor after the last two if I was Wartburg.
Yeah, I mean, the Victor didn't really perform too well game two, but he was still a pretty managed to stay a threat and stay relevant in game one. The big issue with game two was just that Ithaca lost gold in so many areas that their late game scalers didn't really have an option to get to late game. They just got strangled a bit too much for gold and resources. And here with the Ithaca kind of going back to that late game scaling with picking up a Jinx pick as opposed to an Aphelios might be a little more helpful. You know, when you have a set in Diana who can get into team fights and pick up kills really quickly, having someone that can profit off of that with the resets on Jinx passive could prove to be really in Ithaca's favor. A little bit better than say an Aphelios pick, who is a very technical champion that is very movement reliant.
Yeah, I do have a personal theory that even people who pick that champion don't quite know what he does sometimes. A Galio pick for, I guess, the mid lane. You know, that's not bad. I think this might be one of the better team comps we've seen out of Ithaca here. I'm kind of excited to see this one.
Yeah, I mean it's a really strong for Ithaca, and here we see kind of in retaliation to we see what they pick up. They pick up the Lux again. Lux was very powerful with those picks for Wartburg. Hopefully now with with a tankier mid like Galio, he doesn't drop so many kills to the Lux and is able to have a lot more utility. Galio does have a lot of ways to get around the map, and with Diana, who will be able to clear really quickly and rotate to objectives, it might be in their favor to have someone who can support more aggressive plays from their jungler.
Yeah, this should be a good one. A lot of falling back on what they know for Wartburg from last game, but I don't know, man. I think based on the team comps, I'm kind of leaning Ithaca on this one. I think the set plus Diana is really strong with the Galio able to get into the backline, and then Seraphine and Jinx can, if they play well, can really kite out any engage that Wartburg has and weather the storm and turn that into a front to back team fight. So yeah, I think I lean Ithaca on this one, just purely based on the team comps.
Looking at the team comps, it's really hard to say. I mean, yeah, Ithaca has really strong engage and really good follow up as well with Jinx and Seraphine, but Wartburg has a lot of has a pretty valuable protect comp. Kaisa is a very strong ADC right now. Once you get a couple of items on her, that Q can really shred through a lot of champions really easily, and you have a lot of protect from the Maokai Sejuani if they play it right. So a lot of variables in this game. I think it's going to be a lot more even compared to even game one. I think it's going to be a lot closer in terms of gold. Hopefully these teams, both teams coming to win it. They're here to give it their all, and see who can secure the win off this one. So we're going to take a few minutes while teams get into games. I will say to anyone who's new to the stream, who's just joining us, this is the Emporia Invitational. 4 teams fighting over 2 days. Whoever wins this goes to finals. And if you like the stream, feel free to sub if you want to. If you want to support us, I'd appreciate it. I am pocketing a lot of this tournament personally because I wanted to see it happen. Yeah, we'll be right back. Okay, well, getting right into game 3. My podcaster is not present at the moment.
I'm here.
Oh, there you are. Okay, never mind.
Just going stealth mode. Sorry.
Understandable. Okay, going right into game 3, we see Ithaca kind of doing their 5-man stack like last time. Kind of worried about the Maokai invade possibly, but seeing it after the game 1, but ultimately Wartburg is going to just kind of sit back. Actually, I need to change the deck as well. Sorry.
Yeah, we got 1-1 now.
Let's see. Yeah, I mean, both teams kind of swapping sides, deciding that maybe it'd be better if be better on the other side. The grass is greener, as they say.
Yeah, we got 2 very similar team comps here, man. It's kind of hard to tell win cons apart from each other. We got kind of hyperscaling ADCs with a tank top and a jungler that can put out a decent amount of damage. So, yeah, I'm not really sure what. I guess they both kind of benefit from the late game. So it'll be a lot depending on how the early game goes and how the junglers can affect the lanes early on too.
Yeah, I think probably what we'll be looking for, again, like we look top a lot just because Crisis, he loves trying to get those trades off. He loves trying to start those fights. He knows he can out trade the enemy top in a lot of situations. So we'll probably end up having the camera up there a lot, but also kind of looking a bit maybe at bot lane, sort of going into mid game, because as much as both teams want to scale, I think that's going to be the place where you look to make the most plays. Having Maokai, who has all these tools for getting onto enemy champions so directly, and having a follow-up in the terms of potential Lilia gank, or just Kaisa Q damage.
Yeah, those bot lane AD carries are gonna really make a big difference here come mid to late game on who ends up winning this game. But we see a lot of damage from the setup top lane, man. I think it's a big mistake letting that champion through for Crisis.
Yeah, we'll see if some of their other bans were higher priority in comparison to it. Oh, looks like Stormgator getting some damage off with that proc as well. Burning Ignite, but will not pick up Big Show. That Aftershock providing a lot of bonus damage. And Borg actually doing a lot thanks to the set combo.
Yeah, Borg's actually able to dodged the center of that the set W there. He's learning.
Right,
He's
well,
capable of taking in stuff from last game. Now that he's played against the set twice, he's kind of figuring out. You can't eat that, man. Even in lane, set's a no mana champion. He can spam that crap as much as he wants to. So you got to get out of the way.
yeah, Corn King might be looking to set up a potential gank onto the Galio here, but having to wait for Stormgear to push up the wave if at all. He does have McNick pretty low, and Halachu is around the corner as well, but looks like he's going to give it up for the time being and look elsewhere. Meanwhile, Halachu is just trying to get vision in the jungle while he can.
Yeah, that's a smart move. McNick needs to head back to base, which it looks like he will here. The Galio pick's just hard to bully out of lane. He's got the wave clear and a little bit of tankiness too, especially with that aftershock. So
looks like
it's gonna be tough to deal with.
We're seeing another potential lane gank from Corn King yet again.
Coming back to the classic.
If it works, it works. Don't fix what isn't broken. We'll have to see if it really depends on Rosehawk stepping up a little bit too much, and if Flash.
Yeah, we got a low mobility bot lane here for Ithaca, so this time I could see it working if they get the right engage.
Because it's a little bit too far forward. The classic easy gank, Corn King getting the Q off, hitting the true damage.
And they're able to give it to the Kaisa. That is huge. That is a very big first blood for Wartburg there. So good to see for them.
Yeah, that's what you see. I mean, Rosehawk stepping a little bit too far forward. Of course, you want to get your. you have your support item. You want to get the procs off and get that bonus gold. But I mean, when you're into a Maokai, that's just so risky to do in a lot of situations, because Maokai has so much direct way to get onto a champion and prevent him from going anywhere. And Rosehawk was punished very much so for that.
Yeah, I think that's one of the big reasons you see a lot of the pro supports. They always just go for the relic shield item. It's free gold. You don't have to put yourself in danger to get it most of the time. The big damage from Crisis there, man. He really knows that set. It's interesting to see. He really pumps out the damage very efficiently on that champion.
Yeah, he knows the matchups very well and spaces very eloquently on it. Here we see Ithaca actually seeing that not enough pressure, forcing bot to go back. Actually, they do pick up the dragon.
We got kind of a theme here with Ithaca and the early dragons, man. I think they've gotten the first one all 3 games that we've casted here so far, and usually it's kind of a sneak with no contest. So I don't know if it's Wartburg just being willing to give those up, or if it's just really good play by Ithaca at this point.
Probably just comes with their pattern of play. It's they recognize in the teams they fight. They they typically have these scaling bot lanes that want to stay in lane as long as they can, and picking up on when the enemy bot lane goes back to get some sort of item advantage. They just kind of take advantage of that. And here we see Kaisa already has the Noon Quiver, so I'm going to make pushing a lot easier for Kaisa until Jinx is able to find it back.
Yeah, it's a good time for bot lane to kind of fish for a fight here. We got Alti's top lane, and they're kind of doing the dance up there right now.
Yeah, well, Sejuani is backing off. Might not have to wait. Maybe Borge decides he doesn't want it, or just wants to wait until the lane is in a better position. But meanwhile, we look at the jungler Corn King is already back bot lane, looking for something. Although Jinx is taking it back now. Oh, Crisis getting a hook off on the Borge here. He's going to dodge the W. The shield's going to be not a whole lot to help him out. He is eating a lot of minion damage. Is burning from Ignite. The last tick, that last little punch from the caster minion is going to kill Crisis.
Wow, Borge didn't even use his ulti there. It's crazy how efficient Bombi Cinder is on that Sejuani pick when her passive gives her so much armor. And that CC reduction. He just... that champion pumps out a lot of damage for not having, damaging items. So it's cool to see him use that. It's not something I've seen a lot lately in my time. So very cool to see the Sejuani being successful.
Yeah, Sejuani, I mean, regardless of where you send her, whether it's jungle or it's top, she just has so much staying power. I think she was actually buffed fairly recently. I'm not 100% sure on that. I haven't been keeping up with the patch notes as well as I should have been. But Sejuani is just found a lot of competitive play, especially in the NECC. Oh, actually, Halachu dropping the ult. Stormgator able to keep locked down long enough. That was a really solid pick from Ithaca there.
Yeah, that's just smart jungle timing there and knowing where the jungler is. I'll say miscue there on Maokai. If he pushed Stormgator into that turret, they may have had the chance to kill him. But good job on Ithaca there, knowing the blue buff's up, and he's probably going to be going for it. It's big for those AP junglers to have their blue buff, so it kind of hurts him not getting that.
Yeah, and I'll say something we didn't really comment on before, but Quarantine actually went for a pretty greedy invade onto Halachu's red buff earlier. And while he did get the red buff unattested without being spotted, he did also go for Raptors afterwards, which is where Stormgator saw that. So Halachu kind of seeing that opportunity, like, hey, you know, this jungler was just at my buff, and his buff is coming up. Why don't we just go and contest that? Like, it ended up being really smart for him.
Yep, yeah, good heads-up play there. And it's not something we've seen a lot from Ithaca today. It might be a little matchup dependent with the Master Yi and the 2-kill Nocturne in the first game, where he was kind of afraid to invade. But yeah, like I said, you know, good play there. Ithaca doing a good job of picking up objectives and winning the jungle strategy game. But yeah, it kind of closes the gap on the gold lead too. We're pretty much dead even now.
After look at that too, Halachu's managed to pick up a pretty considerable lead with that Dark Seal. It's going to maybe be able to be used later down the line. And Galio also managed to keep a gold lead here. And speaking of Galio, he is showing up bot lane here. Though will be pushed back. The Maokai vision is a little bit too strong. Meanwhile,
yeah, Galio has a good ability to, you know, if he can get his support to kind of force and engage. Once you get Galio to W in, he's got no way to get out really. So a Galio ult would be pretty devastating at that point. I think that's what they were looking for there.
Maybe we see Halachu sneaking yet another objective, getting that Herald, really punishing Wartburg for not getting vision on these big objectives.
Yeah, they need to work on that early game, man. Ithaca has just owned the early game objective play in all 3 of these games so far. They are not warding those, and that is not good for their play here.
Looks like
was that an accidental Rift Herald there?
Well, forget that, because bot lane is trying their best to try to stop the Maokai getting a little too aggressive and being punished for it. Kaisa does pick up the Jinx in retaliation, but still dies to Seraphine. That is some great punishing from Ithaca on the enemy bot lane.
You know, that's tough, but I mean, the double kill for Seraphine for 1 on Kaisa isn't that bad. They're very lucky that Jinx wasn't able to pick up either of those kills there.
Yeah, it does mean that Wartburg does still have an opening to play aggressively here, but
we have a 15 CS lead on Kaisa, so I think Wartburg's bot lane is still in a good place here. But yeah, that was definitely not a good engage for the Maokai there. They need to check that one.
Yeah, but it does mean they're going to get a good advantage on this dragon here. Halachu is just farming away on the Herald, so not really a whole lot you can do. You know, you do see it in vision, but your team is not around the corner. No one's really set up for it. Everyone's just returning to lane. So better to just give it and keep up that farm lead. Here we see, Set going for the ult onto board. He's really low, dropping the passive. He will not take enough from tower, and will just get a free push here topside.
Yeah, I guess the Sejuani's just saving his ulti for next game because he has not used it yet in this game. But I think once he was set ulted under the turret, he should have instantly popped that to get the stun down, and then he could have stacked his E passive while the Set was stunned by the Sejuani ult and dropped Ignite. I think he would have won that.
Yeah, I mean, quite possibly there are other ways he could have survived that. However, Crisis is now in trouble, staying a little bit too long under that tower. Tried to try the flash, but Lux is there to close off any possible exit he could have had.
Yeah, he got put to sleep on that one there. Yeah, definitely got greedy. I'm not sure what was going through his head. This is not solo queue. Once you get that kill, you got to push out and go back, my brother, and you know, consolidate your wins.
Well, Stormgear kind of following his path by reading really hard for this tower play. Doesn't get the tower play. However, bot lane is roaming up to maybe try to collapse on it. Let's see. There's the Maokai all committing to it. Stormgator, however, is like, might be fine. Meanwhile, Halachu committing for this kill on the Borge, but Corn, oh, great dodge, but the ult does come out. Flash to respond. Halachu walks away safely from that engagement. Great reaction from Halachu to stay alive in that situation.
Yeah, I'm very surprised he was able to survive that with all of the CC on Sejuani there, and then the damage from Lilia. So lucky for him. He got kind of greedy there, chasing Borgia down, but didn't end up hurting him too bad. So lucky for him.
It doesn't end up wasting the other no objectives. Dragon isn't up for another 3 minutes, and Barrett isn't up for 6. So Herald isn't up for 2. So even though he did commit the ult on the board to try to get the kill, I don't think it will go punished necessarily. I think he'll be back up for the next possible fight. And yeah, I mean that was just like a really smart Diana E onto the minion wave to dodge out of the stun. And then you know, we see Diana does have to. Oh, actually, Crisis is trying to kind of finish the job on Borge up top here. Yeah, having Conqueror means you have that. Oh, I keep trying to talk, but Rosehawk forced the ult, the Kaisa to try to live. Kaisa ults to stay in range to secure the kill. Big Wimbo is committing to this fight. Does have Galio right behind. Is the Everfrost is going to secure it. Ults for Flashton here. Corn King trying to help out any way he can, but there just isn't anything. Crisis is meanwhile 2v2ing top. Gets ignited while Borgia stays his distance and will go down. Even trading across the map here. Very crazy team fights.
Wow. We had, a 2v1 top and then a 3v4 bot lane. That was a very interesting couple minutes there. Big fight in bot lane. I mean, Kaisa with the big 2v2, and then that Galio ult is just devastating when it comes out to turn a fight like that. So good map awareness on them there, and then Lux was stuck top lane and couldn't come down to assist on it. So
Stormgator is committing to this, dropping the Everfrost and the taunt as well. Going for the knockup. Halachi is behind, but the Flash is burned. He's tanking tower, but Halachi will not eat anything. Still staying very healthy to possibly turn this around on them. Oh, Halachi does drop the ultimate on the Corn King, but misses Flashton in the process. Oh, he tries to go in, but is slept under tower and will fall. Stormgator using anything to try to live in this situation, but there's so many enemies everywhere. Crisis has to go on Sejuani to force Sejuani to go another direction. That was a very greedy dive from Stormgator. Yeah. Your jungler is just so far out. A good idea in practice, but when Halachu is so far away from able to secure anything, it makes your damage just isn't quite enough yet.
Yeah, it was a mixture of a bit of greed there from the Galio, and then a heads-up play for Flash and Kutcher, taking his Maokai mid lane instead of just doing the brainless "I'm gonna walk bot after we die" thing like I would have done if I was playing support. So good on him seeing that there's a fight coming mid and then running there. He really turned that fight. The Diana may have cleaned up both Corn King and McNick if the Maokai wasn't there to CC him a couple times.
Yeah, Diana dying there does mean that he loses a lot of momentum, because the thing about Diana jungle is that you have a lot of really powerful tools in your kit, but if you're committing to these fights and you're losing them, that's time you're not spent clearing your jungle when you have such a healthy clear, when you clear camps so fast. We already see it, Halachu kind of losing a bit of a gold lead to the Lilia here.
Yeah, McNick shows up 500 gold now. That's a very substantial lead. However, we do see the McNick show on that Lux once again down quite a bit, man. So it'll be interesting to see. I haven't seen any big steals from the Lux yet this game, so he needs to hop on that.
Well, doesn't have to worry about stealing anything quite yet, with Wartburg securing the dragon rather safely. Ithaca was not really in a position to do that. Oh, they did have, what is it? You would expect to see maybe them try to contest that, maybe, because you have Diana ulti, you do have Galio ulti, and those are the kind of situations you want, having the enemy team be so super grouped up like that. But not for nothing, they do get Herald in return for it, while Wartburg is a little too slow to respond.
Yeah, I think that's a fine trade, given that if they are able to use the Rift Herald to get a couple turrets, maybe. But yeah, the 2 dragons on Wartburg early, that's more than they've gotten in the last couple games. Usually you see it's usually like 1 to 2 in Ithaca's favor at this point in the game, given what we've seen so far.
see how that works out. Now Stormgazers are trying to go in with the Everfrost, getting the taunt off on the board, just trying to stall for time so that way Crisis can come in behind here. He is rather slow to lane, however. He is not making it in time, although he is going to ult Sejuani under tower while tanking it. Flashes to secure the kill on the board. Yet again, we see Stormgazer being a little bit too gung-ho with these engagements. That is what Galio wants to do, and that is, you have your team is coming, but you're going in a little bit too early. You need to maybe hold off a little bit, have a little bit of patience, I think.
Yeah, that was definitely a bit of an overextension. Luckily, they were able to claw back a kill and kind of make it 1-for-1 there. You say that, but the Galio's doing very well. He's up in farm, second place in the game or third, but definitely above his lane opponent. So he's not doing bad. But yeah, he does need to work on that mental, getting those engages. It's a tough kind of game to play because you feel like you're invincible sometimes on that Galio. But if you're left alone there, you can be in a really bad place really quick.
The thing about the Everfrost too is that you're not really having a lot of burst damage to do. Here we see Cornky. Oh, this all from Seraphine trying to stall for time on this tower as much as possible. Sadly, Wartburg does not take the bait and will not commit to it. Ithaca just kind of throwing out ultimates, it seems, rather willy-nilly. Here we see Crisis just doing more of the things he's been doing all game, just pounding away at the big old Sejuani meat wall. And the time is like Stormgazer here flashing and trying to get in here. Does get the taunt off on Kaisa. She will be locked down. And an easy kill for the Jinx.
Yeah, that's what that Everfrost does for you. Once you start getting that CC chain going, it is a very long one. Fleshing Kutcher had a chance there to kind of jump in front of the Galio queue, and he didn't take it. So I think if he does that, he kind of saves the engage. But that's a split-second decision there on the flash queue, so it's a tough one to land.
Yeah, I mean, it was really smart from Stormgazer using that flash to kind of get around the defenses. Meanwhile, Forge is taking a pounding from this set while Set is bearing down on the tower. That Crisis on the set is just looking so strong. It's very hard to see him being allowed to play this champion in the future. It's proving so menacing to all of these champions that Forge just likes to play.
Yeah, he knows the champion. He's got that Blade of the Ruined King now, which is really devastating for the tank champs like Sejuani. He feels like he should probably be a little safer with the Bramble Vest, and he's got his mythic item and the armor boots, but it's just not enough when Set is so tanky and also auto attacking so much and getting that passive from the Blade of the Ruined King.
Yeah, and the thing about that is that the thing about Blade of the King is also you have so much more attack speed. You're getting Set's passive proc so much more cleanly, especially on a Sejuani who just doesn't have that mobility to kite around it. A Set who can just hammer away with his passive up constantly is definitely a scary one. And here we actually see Drake coming up here in 30 minutes. We see Wartburg trying to set up for it, while Ithaca is a little bit slow to respond. But they've had pretty good success with this bot lane so far, especially utilizing the Galio ult, which is up. You have Galio ult, you have Diana ult. See, are they able to use that effectively come this next engagement?
Yeah, I think for the first time tonight we've seen Ithaca with the actual teamfight ultis and an advantage in that. So it's been cool seeing them able to kind of utilize those here. Oh, we got Sejuani going in on top lane.
Yeah, Set does have teleport, so it makes sense Sejuani doesn't want Set to maybe get that off, but will get off anyway. They've already started the dragon. It's at about half health. Ithaca is here to intercept. Crisis is running in. He wants to body for his team. Does get the Galio ult into the backline. Diana follow up. The knockups are bounce house for days. And Sejuani will go down as well.
Oh my god, I think we're... Yeah, that was they got bunched up into the jungle choke point there. Wartburg did, and it did not go well for them against that Jinx and Diana and Set. The Set ult was pretty tough in there, bunching everybody up and doing a bunch of damage, and then it just got followed up with the Jinx rockets and the Galio. So, and the Seraphine ult. So, like I said, those big team fight ultis are out for Ithaca for the first time tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get much more textbook basic than that. I mean, you have this you have Set alting this big defender, slowing everyone, Diana with that follow-up, and then pulling them further into the Galio alt. Like, it's just it. We saw a lot of this, I will say, from the round robin for Ithaca, or from Crisis before. Just getting Set alts that just constantly bearing down on the enemy team, and then the follow-up was just so brutal. And all I can say is that Ithaca, they gave Wartburg a ticket to the bounce house, and they punched in that ticket.
That's for sure they did, and it's tough to front to back against that because Set kind of turns that typical team fight orientation upside down when suddenly he's on top of you and he does damage based on how much health your person has, and when he's pulling that Maokai in and doing a lot of damage to your backline, it's really, really bad. And they were able to burst him down after that, but I think the damage was already done, and he gives an entry to that Galio into your backline. So Wartburg is going to have to come up with some sort of strategy to deal with that here real quick.
And I think a big part of it is just trying their hardest to peel for the Kaisa once the team fights start. It is really hard when you have a champion that can kind of reverse your front line like that. But really, that's all Wartburg has at this point. You have a Kaisa. Sure, she's 4 deaths in, but she has 2 items. And actually, if you look at it, it still has a gold lead on the Jinx, despite Jinx performing very well so far this game. Kaisa can prove to be very detrimental if she can stay alive in these team fights, and that's the big question.
Yeah, she's got to get that the E passive so she can get a little bit of stealth and get some more staying power and a little bit of a evasion to her kit.
Bit of a preemptive ult there. Probably expecting Borch. Although Set is here to ult Borch further into the team. Big Wumbo shredding as much as he can. And it'll be Stormgator that actually picks up the kill. So very strong pick from Ithaca right there. Crisis using all of his tools to sort of force Wartburg into these really unfavorable positions.
That's rough, yeah, with Borge dying again without ulting, and then a great flank from Crisis.
Follow-up from Halachu getting the ultimate on the jungler. Great job from Stormgator, able to not respecting the Galio stun right there. We're going to get a pretty free Baron. Oh, Stormgator is bodying for it. We saw the Lux laser, but that was fortunately not enough this time.
Yeah, smart by Stormgator to frontline that.
Vitus is slowed by the Everfrost. Does use Cleanse after the taunt. Very smart play. Oh, will Flashing Kutcher die for it? No. He will not. Very, very greedy from Vitus, trying to secure that Raptor camp from a Galio, a champion that has so much. Oh, Nick Show is next on the chopping block, actually. From Stormgator, another flash this time. It does have a lot of damage. We'll see that go down. Borg drops the ult, but it will not be enough to protect Nick. Stormgator is trying his best to save Halachu in this situation, although he may not have a choice anymore. Forced to go in, but gets exhausted. Drops the ultimate, does drop Corn King to half health, but it will not be enough. Very interesting picks from both teams. Crisis is bot now.
Yeah, this Diana has really hit critical mass, and I'll say he was at 16 or 18 Magi stacks when he died there, so very bad on him for dying, and gives a big shutdown to Kaisa as well. I think it was 650 gold on top of the regular kill gold, so that might swing this a little bit, but Ithaca still has that 6k gold lead and has Wartburg on the back foot here, so they really have no answer for what Ithaca's putting out this game.
Yeah, and I'll say a very good play from Stormgator, despite it not really being enough for them, but not being afraid to drop the Galio ult under tower and then using what's left in his kit to try to stall out and maybe keep the Diana alive. So very, very selfless play. We like to see that in these 5v5 games. I am surprised to see the Rift Maker from the Diana. You have this champion who is so burst or you're building them so burst oriented with the Megis and the Zanyas. I'm surprised you don't go with something just like with the Proto Belt, just to have that extra bit of range and engage.
Yeah, Proto Belter. I know it's not super popular, but the Night Harvester got buffed.
Meanwhile, it's getting CC'd by Preston. But yeah, and then it all comes down from Sejuani. just takes way too much damage and is locked down for way too long. But that is fine because Ithaca is trading Dragon for it. That is going to be their third Dragon this game.
Yeah, I think that's what they call worth. The set very hard to take down for those tank champions too. So he definitely got his punches in before he fell, and Ithaca able to pick up the Dragon. So I'm definitely going to say worth for them.
Yeah, and all things considered, they did commit 3 champions to it. Although Stormgator, also pushing a little too far up here, is trying to walk away to help his team. Halachu is here, does flash in, gets the ult off on Vedas. Vedas forced to ult and flash away. Halachu looking to maybe go on any other remaining scragglers. Oh, and the golden pose on the Lux ult does save him. Seraphine picking up the kill there. He is looking for more. Seraphine smartly using the ult extended by Diana, but will not reach its target. And Lilia will escape back to base.
Not a bad play from Ithaca there. They were able to turn that from a pick into a kill 1-for-1. It looks like, although Wartburg did pick up a top turret, so maybe a bit of advantage there to them as both teams kind of set up for the next objective, which looks like it might be this Dragon coming up soon.
Ithaca is trying really hard to press the advantage. They don't have it forever. You do have a Kaisa on the enemy team who will eventually become I feel like, a very comparable threat to Jinx. Able to shred, that late game Kaisa should shred through set no matter how big his shield is or how much he's hitting for. So,
that's true, and her 1v1 potential is a lot higher than Jinx as well with her stealth and that Q damage. So one of those champs where you can kind of not rely on even an assassin to 1v1 her in the late game when she's started to scale up.
So Gun, I think, are trying to use that advantage where they can, however, getting punished for it just a little bit. We'll see, Dragon will not be up for another 3 minutes, but Baron will be up in 1 minute and a half. To see how these teams kind of set up around the map, maybe get these lanes pushed in a bit more.
Man, it's been an exciting game so far, which is a lot different than what we've seen. Usually Ithaca is behind and kind of trying to find an advantage at this point, but it's really, the script has been flipped for this game. We have Ithaca ahead and kind of unable to press their advantage into a meaningful lead, much the same that we saw from Wartburg in game 1. So it'll be interesting to see them try to maybe pick up this Baron and use it as an entry into Wartburg's base. They need to pick up an inhib or something significant to really get that lead and push it into something.
Oh, it looks like Stormgator is stepping a little bit too far forward for this farm. He's not having his team to back him up. He's going to get rooted by the Maokai, who's doing a lot to stop them. Set is in the middle of the fray of the team, but he will not be able to do a whole lot. The Set ult, the Galio ult does save him. He is going back in. He wants these kills, but the flash will protect Lilia. Meanwhile, Big Bumbo and Halacho are here to back him up. The Diana ult, barely, is not enough damage to secure the Kaisa pick. Halacho is not giving up, however. He wants this power. He knows his team is right behind him. Let's see if they can turn this into an inhibitor. Oh. Corn King looking with the bowling ball, but it's not land on anyone significant.
Yeah, that Maokai Sejuani did not have enough damage to take that set down, man. They tried and they did not. I mean, it was basically, tickling him at that point. They need that Kaisa there if they're going to do anything. Even the Lux ult against that set and the Galio was not doing anything.
Yeah, Lux having the Luden Seraph means that she doesn't really have the shred for Crisis, for either Crisis or Halachu's massive shielding. It's proving to be really troublesome when even though Ithaca is getting caught out in these situations, a lot of times Wartburg just doesn't have all the members of their team there to set it up. Well, it looks like they might be setting up for a potential Baron here. They are setting up vision around the area, although the jungler is away at the moment. Ooh, Stormgator landing the Everfrost, forcing the ult from Maokai is a big resource. But they might be able to force a little bit more here. Maokai not having the ultimate means a lot better future team fight.
Yeah, that ulti's big, especially in a place like Baron Pit, where you can set it up where it's almost inescapable. And having that down is going to be big for Ithaca.
We'll have to see if they're able to do anything. It is almost about halfway to being back up now, but the Dragon is coming up here in 10 seconds. Galio is here to try to get a little bit of vision, but it's actually Wartburg that is going to be in the river first. See Halachi kind of down.
But this is a big dragon for
It
Ithaca.
looks like he's flashing and getting 3-man ultimate. Galio is following up. Yet another knockup. He goes back on Vetus, barely able to catch him, and everyone else just falls down so quickly. Borg is just shredded by the 5 members of Ithaca. That was textbook classic Diana ultimate. They were not expecting it or respecting it in the slightest. Oh, Crisis is actually managed to TP into base, and he is looking to finish the game.
Yeah, this might be it for them, actually.
Yeah, Crisis is just hammering away with this set passive. Nick Show is just not able to do anything. Dropping the ultimate, it does not matter. Crisis will win the game for Ithaca. Ithaca is going on to finals.
Wow, and yeah, like you said, that was just textbook Diana play there, and I think you know a thing or two about that, being quite the Diana player yourself in the jungle. So very cool to see. And she had to use the flash there. I think you, like you said, with a Hextech Proto Belt, she could do that, every 60 seconds or so. And but it turned out it worked out pretty well for him. So yeah, who am I to say?
I mean, the thing about the Rift Maker is that it does give you quite a bit of sustain. It translates to a little bit of true damage once you get enough procs off. I think it's about 3 or 4. But yeah, it's still a good, perfectly fine mythic. And either way, I think the flash is perfectly fine to commit there when you have so many targets you're hitting with your ultimate. So no bones about it. Ithaca played very well. They managed to pull it back after game 2. And now they get to face off. Let me see, actually. We might see who they're facing off against.
Yeah, that was really cool to see, though. They did not let that Kaisa get to a position where he was going to be dangerous. You could see they were really putting a lot of resources towards making sure Vides was out of every fight, and it paid big dividends for them there at the end. Crisis, they have to ban the set. That's just what it comes down to for that one. Very, very good game there, and fun to watch, man. There was 3 very different games that we saw here, and all of them super fun.
Trying to get the results here. Yeah, I mean, it's just really happy that Ithaca was able to kind of bounce back after that game 2. Game 2 was a little bit of a brutal showing there. I know they lost a lot of resources really early. They kind of they struggled a lot and got choked out on a lot of any sort of gold lead they could have had. So seeing them. Well, yeah, they are relying a lot on the set. I mean, we just saw a really solid follow-up, especially from Stormgator on his teammates. Putting him in that more supportive Galio role really paid off for them.
That's what I'm saying. I think if the victor goes through draft and he picks it, this is a completely different game. I think them forcing him on the Galio was a big boon for Ithaca, as it turns out. Because they did not need him for the damage between the Diana and the Jinx. And even the set was putting out a lot of damage too. So very good draft by Ithaca in hindsight. So props to them for that. Hopefully they can turn that into a couple of finals wins here.